we are officially live on Facebook, Michigan 24/7 Sports YouTube, and the Michigan Insider.
Hi, everybody. Happy Saturday, live from Art Fair in the heart of Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're going to be live on the radio coming up at the top of the hour. Coming up shortly, we'll be joined by Desmond Howard and others as we celebrate the beginning part of Rewind, right, Sam?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Looking forward to it as I weighed in this morning, and it is 36 down.
36. There you go.
36 down, and I'm 9.5 weeks in. And we will, and my goal was 50 pounds at 12. I don't know that I'm going to hit the 50 at 12, but I'm going to give it a good shot. Give it a good try.
I'm just going to sit over here and watch the golf while you talk anyway. The British Open is on, but we're going to be here live talking some football.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. We're going to get to the top of the hour, I'm assuming momentarily, as our guy Miz is hiding.
Live from the M-Den on State Street in the middle of Ann Arbor's annual art fair. This is a special Rewind on Saturday edition of the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA. The Ticket. Here's your Rewind host, Sam Webb.
And we are live, folks. Live on location at the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street. A special Rewind edition of the Michigan Insider. Been looking forward to this day for a long time because the Rewind folks all came together. I just came from the stadium, and Desmond was there. Desmond Howard was there. Jake Butt was there. It was good to see Jake making a pit stop here before he heads down to Chicago, as Jake is a Chicago Bear and looking to make the roster over there. Me being a lifelong Lions fan, I hate the Chicago Bears. Can't stand the Chicago Bears, but they now have one redeeming quality that I can cheer for, that being Jake Butt. Saw Ben Gedeon over there. Saw a lot of other former Wolverines, John Wangler, Jim Betts, and a bunch of people who have had rewind success like me. And so it's going to be a fun day talking about all that, talking some Michigan football, as well as maybe getting a few golf updates from my partner, Ira Weintraub. Ira, how are you?
I'm good. As the third round of the Open Championship goes on, I'll provide some updates on that. As you were talking, it just got me thinking. The Vikings have had a run on a lot of Michigan guys, Gedeon being one of them, Steve Hutchinson and others. The Packers, right? Rashawn Gary. We can name a bunch of others. Desmond, who's going to be here. Charles Woodson. You just mentioned the Chicago Bears now with Jake Butt. There's Jim Harbaugh. You can mention. But it's the Lions, man. Everybody else in the NFC North has no problem with Michigan. Apparently, it's just the Lions.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's been a lifelong issue with me. Desmond played for the Lions for a little bit.
It was a cup of coffee.
A little bit.
It was like a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee. I remember Desmond having maybe a kickoff return for a touchdown, and then doing the robot in the end zone. He might relive that, but no. This was a program that was introduced to us, Rewind, about 12 weeks ago. So what is Rewind? So it is a weight loss program. It is not a diet. It is a program. And it is guided by doctors and nutritionists from the University of Michigan. And they've infused in what you see in typical weight loss programs. They've infused a team concept and a coaching concept and made sense to have some synergy with an actual team. And you're at the University of Michigan. Why not Michigan's football team, right? So they were able to get together with Desmond, with Ben Gedeon, who's going to be here as well, with Jake Butt, to have them be ambassadors for this program to get the word out, to let people know that there is something different. There is something. You've maybe heard a lot of different programs, right? But there is one that maybe you haven't heard about that probably, no probably to it, in my opinion, it's better than all the rest because it incorporates those other things. It's not a diet. It teaches you how to have a proper diet, and it offers the encouragement of other people who are in the program with you through, group interaction as part of the program. You're able to link up with your team members on the app. You're able to link up with your coaches who are doctors and nutritionists from the University of Michigan. You aren't finding that in other programs. Now, I will say, full disclosure, the first 12 weeks of this program, there's no meat. I am a carnivore, Ira. You know this about me. Not just chicken and fish. I mean, I'm like, look, full bred steak. I love a steak. I want a burger, right? I want some ribs. Give me some brisket. I'm speaking Irish language now. Give me some of that.
Those are pretty much, you just named my food groups. You're good.
There's none of that for 12 weeks. For first 12 weeks of the program, soups and shakes. At least it's soups and shakes exclusively for the first 2 weeks. Then the next 10 weeks, it's soups, shakes, and then you can include non-starchy vegetables at that point. So I'm the person who would bypass the vegetables altogether, setting a horrible example for my kids, right? But this is a part of it too. You want to be better for your kids in addition to losing weight. So I've learned a lot about zucchini. Like, do you know you can make zucchini into rice, Ira? You can have zucchini rice. Had no idea. No idea you can have a zucchini rice. Eggplant. Eggplant can be a pasta substitute. Had no idea you could do these things. Amazing. Did you know kale chips? You couldn't have convinced me to eat a kale chip. I eat kale chips.
I'm proud of you, Sam. On all this, I'm very proud of you.
I don't think you can find kale.
And I'm not saying that in a joking way, really. It is a lifestyle change that you embraced. You had a few hiccups along the way early on, and you learned that you had to follow the process step by step, but you have fully embraced it. And I say that in all seriousness. It is
okay. So what Ira is talking about, look, they prescribe for you. As you get into the program, they run you through a battery of tests. All right. So they find out what your different levels are, your cholesterol, your vitamin D, all of these benchmarks, and they find out where you should be. And they, in addition to maybe prescribing you some medication that will fend off any issues. So there is a uric acid pill because they don't want you to get, or at least for me, because they don't want you to get gout. There's another one for gallbladder to prevent gallbladder issues because you're losing weight so rapidly. It can trigger a bad gallbladder response. And then they tell you, you need to drink a lot of water. You must drink a lot of water. A lot being, at least for me, 64 ounces of water a day is a lot for me. I'm like, as long as I stick to the program and I drink the soups and the shakes, if you have a glass of water a day, it's no big deal. Mistake. Because Ira knows we were doing the show. And I was like, Ira, man, because we're a family here. Like if I fall down, Miz picks me up. If Miz falls down, Ira picks him up. So I hadn't given them notice the day before that I was having issues. So I couldn't tell Ira short notice, I can't do the show with you. Get on the show in the morning. Hey, man, I can't do the show. I'm just going to gut it out. And I couldn't gut it out.
It was starting at 6 something in the morning. And so for those that are blessed to watch on the stream right now, I'm going to try to recreate Sam Webb for a moment that morning while everyone else is listening, because Sam is talking on the air. He stands up and he's kind of like trying to get comfortable. And then next thing you know, I see him and he's on the ground sitting down, and he's down here and he's trying to get comfortable. And I'm watching all this take place while he's talking and doing the show. So you have to understand, listeners, it's not just it's for you all as well. He fought through it, and he battled. It was really bad that your wife texted because she wasn't sure you had told me, which of course you had told me, and I could see it. But the point that you really learned is you follow the plan, and if you follow the plan, it works, and you don't necessarily go through these things. You learned your lesson,
right?
A little bit the hard way. We had your back. I told you that it was like 7:30 or whatever it was. We got into some stuff that we had pre-recorded and we were able to play. And I said it was a Thursday. And I said, you're done for the week. We'll see you on Monday.
Right.
And I sent you on your way because you needed to get back in line, and you were able to do that. And obviously, you see, as you mentioned, well over 30 pounds now, and obviously you're sitting much more comfortably now than you were about a few weeks ago.
Hey, dude, I drink the water religiously. I admit I don't necessarily get in 64 ounces every day, but I get close to it. So, you learn basic habits, things that we know. We know we're supposed to drink.
You learned a lesson the very hard way. So it will remind you, like if you start getting close to something, that you won't let yourself get there.
Right. So you're supposed to drink your water and eat your vegetables, but this
thanks Hulk Hogan and the vitamins too.
Yeah, but this puts some real results next to it. Like when you do that, you don't typically in your life, maybe you don't see the results right away, but with this program, you see them right away. So first 12 weeks of the program, they say you lose 15 to 25% of your body weight. And I've already done the 15%. My goal was 20%. I got 2.5 weeks to go to get that last 5%. So we'll see where things are. And the program doesn't end there. Then there's the transition phase, which is the next 12 weeks. And they introduce back into your diet regular food. So you know, that brisket, those ribs, that burger that you were maybe craving for the first 12 weeks, you can inject that back into the equation in moderation. And you do that for one of those meals. And after you get through that next 12 weeks, the final year and a half of the program, you're back on your, you aren't doing the soups and shakes anymore unless you want to. But you should have the habits in place to know how to eat better. You have the team support, and you still have the support of the doctors and the nutritionists through the University of Michigan. If you want more information on this very novel program, a program that we're going to hear many of the doctors, the lead doctor, Dr. Amy Rothberg, is brilliant. Dr. Amy is the best. So she is going to be on with us today. We're going to have Desmond Howard in the building in the next hour or so. We're going to have Ben Gedeon in the building as well. They're going to be signing autographs here at the M-Den starting at 1:30. At 1:30 today, Desmond Howard, Ben Gedeon going to be signing your autograph. So you could start lining up for those autographs. You could have started at 9 a.m., but you can come in now, get your bracelet. The first 100 people are guaranteed autographs from Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon today. Jake Butt wasn't able to, he's coming from New Jersey. He's making a pit stop here in Ann Arbor before he heads down to Chicago. Because I mean, you guys have been following Jake's career. I mean, the guy has had the worst injury luck since that Florida State game. The final game of his Michigan career. It is just
two more or three more knee issues. It's sad that you kind of lose track, but it's great that he's got a shot with the Bears.
Yeah.
And hopefully he can stay healthy. Because if he's healthy, he's still a young guy. If he's healthy, he's got a lot of good football to provide to a football team out there. So we just hope he's healthy.
Yeah, it's been a tough go, but he got some encouragement from different coaches and players in the process. Man, you're good enough. You just had bad injury luck. So don't quit when you're healthy. Give it another shot and see if you stay healthy, you can play in this league. And we feel like you can play at a high level. So I hate the Bears, but Jake Butt's my guy. I remember been watching Jake Butt since high school. An Ohio guy. Ben Gedeon's an Ohio guy. Desmond Howard's an Ohio guy. I mean, he's back when either the Ohio migration, we used to harvest. We being Michigan supporters and lovers and fans, we used to harvest the best from Ohio. I think that is a real recipe, part of the recipe anyway, for the success moving forward. So they will be on air. We will also talk about some success stories like Kevin Member. So Kevin, he was listening to Jake on the Michigan Insider. Jake Butt came on the Michigan Insider during a rewind segment and said, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be one of the coaches for a team. You join my team. I'm going to offer you encouragement in your weight loss journey. I'm a part of this program. So if you join up right now, I'll be your coach. Kevin Member, Kev, I call him Kev or Kevin, or probably see him around. So Kev joined that day. They said they could look at the timestamp and see, like, immediately after Jake got off the air, Kevin joined Rewind. JoinRewind.com/Michigan is the website. Again, JoinRewind.com/Michigan is the website. So in 7 days, Kevin lost, it was 7 or 8 days, he lost 13 pounds. 13 pounds in 7 or 8 days. So the first week or so of the program, he lost 13 pounds. I thought I was doing something at like 9 or 10. This dude came and really just.
But as you said, it's the number is more about percent.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. So that is a key distinction. It's not a competition. It's more encouragement.
Correct.
It's more encouragement. So you see that number, it's like, man, that's awesome. That tells you about the possibilities. But, the greater percentage of body fat, the greater percentage, or the higher the number that you probably are going to lose from week to week. So he had a fantastic start to the program, still going strong. And that's one of the other great things about that team interaction that you have on the app every day. You're able to get that support and you're able to get tips. So I learned I could have a Boston cooler. I mean, we're in the state of Michigan. We know what a Boston cooler is. Who doesn't love a Boston cooler if you're from Michigan? You get that Berners, you mix it with the vanilla ice cream, and boom, you have a delicacy around these parts. Well, they have their own version. You take that vanilla meal replacement shake, you get diet Vernors, little ice, blend it up. You got your Boston Cooler. Tastes just like the Boston Cooler you would get from Halo Burger. I mean, folks in Flint know Halo Burger. Anyway, no, that's the kind of support that you get. It is a fantastic program, and they are back in town. The ambassadors like Desmond and Jake and Ben Gedeon, they're here in town. In addition to some of the coaches like Anna Sue, who you've heard on the Rewind segment like 3 times. Anna flew in from San Francisco last night. But again, these are all doctors and nutritionists from the University of Michigan guiding the way.
They're here to celebrate your first 12 weeks of the program. Big time accomplishment for you to get to this stage, and obviously working really hard at it. Yeah, me and your wife, we're the 2 people that are the hardest to ask. So, because people ask me all the time, so how's Sam looking? I'm like, I see him every day, whether it's in person or on a screen. I'm like, I see him every day. It's so hard for me to tell. But the fact is, that your clothes feel different, right? They fall, so they sit on you different, that kind of thing. And other people that we've seen that have like joined us on a video screen or might have seen you in person for the first time, as you start to see some of our salespeople again for the first time, they all know it. They recognize, they acknowledge it.
I think I see my son.
You do. I saw him before the show.
Teacher.
I did. Your oldest son's teacher.
My oldest son's teacher. Yeah, he was at the University of Michigan Children's Center. And so, like, you're talking about his first teacher. His very first. I got to tell Aaron. But 36 pounds in 9.5 weeks so far, with more to go. So listen, you need to be paying attention to these. This is like a call to action. This is like a clue, a hint to the people out there, because we are going to be asking you questions. Those of you that are present at the MDen at 12:30, 1:30, and 2:30. And we are going to see how closely you've been paying attention to the broadcast, because we are going to ask a question at half past each hour. And the first person to come up with the answer to that question will get a signed jersey. So the first signed jersey that we're giving away at 12:30 is a signed Jake Butt jersey, a signed Jake Butt Michigan jersey. Been personalized. Hey, Jake Butt, number 88, signed it. So hope you've been paying attention. Maybe I should have said that at the top, right? But at 12:30, we're going to throw out that first trivia question to test.
All right, so if you want, I don't know how you'd even find it, but you have enough time to go back to the podcast to the last many Wednesdays and re-listen in 15 minutes to all of them, and you might get an answer to the question.
But no,
with Jake Butt.
I'm only going to limit it to
the Jake Butt segment.
Well, no, I'm only limiting to listening to today. So if you're
listening now, I got you. What have you been listening to now?
If you started listening at noon today, I should
tell your story and everything.
Right,
I got you.
So to see how much attention you were paying today, at 12:30, we're going to ask you a question to see how closely you were paying attention. And if someone gets the first person to get that answer correct at this table will get a signed Jake Butt jersey. And we're going to give away a signed Ben Gedeon jersey. And we're going to be giving away a signed Desmond Howard jersey.
So I hope the guys in the back were really paying attention and taking notes on everything Sam said, because if they were listening closely, they got a good shot to win.
Yeah, got a good shot to win. You have to be here at the MDen, though. You can't call in. You can't say, hey, Miz, you can't come over to stream and go on YouTube and go in the comments or Twitter. No, you have to be at the MDen on State Street, 303 South State Street, going on during art fair, by the way. So
yes, Sam does love kale chips. That is true. Not sure that's the question or the answer to the question, though.
Right. Yeah, you can't volunteer the ansser.
That's a good answer. That would be a good answer to a question, but we're not there yet. That's like in the end of Coming to America. Sir, we're not there yet.
Right, we aren't there yet. Coming up at 12:30. So, look, the autographs, those start at 1:30. So if you're driving around right now, still plenty of time for you to find a spot downtown and walk the short distance to the MDen. We were on the other side. I walked down from over across the street from Buffalo Wild Wings and just made the short walk. So there are places you can park if you're walking around. and you got some time to do some things, but come by and get your bracelet. The first 100 people are guaranteed to get their autographs from Desmond Howard and from Ben Gedeon. And oh, by the way, if you're around at half past each hour, you might have a chance to win a signed jersey too.
Sam, good luck at parking. There are plenty of lots that are available. Not everybody has luxury SUV drop-off service like Sam does.
It was man.
It was a luxury SUV. It might have been your family's, but it was still a luxury SUV.
Oh well, no. I actually got the Rewind people brought me.
Oh,
up.
that was one of your first drop-offs.
Yeah, my wife dropped me off at the stadium, but the Rewind people,
gotcha.
The Rewind people got me from the stadium to here.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. So Sam, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
As I've got a moment here, we're going to obviously continue to talk a lot about the Rewind program. Looking forward to having the great guests here, but we have a moment. We're never together doing a show on Saturday during the countdown. We're never together during this time of year. We happen to be here where 7 weeks from today, in fact, the show started at noon, right? So 7 weeks from the start of this show will be kickoff of the 2021 Michigan football season.
Mm-hmm.
We are never together when it's 49 in the countdown.
We are not.
Except the 1 year when Michigan opened on a Thursday night against at Utah, right? That was the only time this has ever happened, that we've been together when number is 49. And I generally find a way to tell this story anyway, because it's probably the best story in the entire countdown, but it's usually on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am on a Saturday. So I'm going to take a moment and we're going to continue our feature series that we do every single day, starting with 100 days out. It is time for the countdown of the 2021 Michigan football season. The countdown is brought to you by our friends at Lewis Jewelers, your watch store, proud partner of Michigan Athletics and Sports Talk 1050 WTK The Ticket. And Sam, I bring this up because we are 49 Bob Chappiest days away until the start of the Michigan football season. This is the best story. This, if not the best, it's one of the best ones. Born February 24th, 1923, he came to us from Toledo, Ohio. He was on campus 1941 and 42, and then again 46 and 47. He was a halfback, about 6 foot, 180 pounds. When Chappies graduated high school, his father said that he could go to any college he wanted other than Ohio State. When asked for an explanation, Chappies could only say, Dad just didn't like Ohio State. So we're off to a great start already with the story, right? It's already a great start. As a sophomore, he played in 9 games. He accumulated 220 yards rushing on the ground, 358 yards passing, and 30 yards receiving. So a little bit of everything. But then he had to wait for his junior year because he joined the Air Force during World War II. He flew 21 missions, getting shot down over Italy during his 21st mission. After saving his tail gunner's life, Chappius and the rest of his crew jumped to safety, eventually being rescued by Italian partisans who hid them for 3 months until the end of the war. So he was rescued by Aldo Camucci, who was a 21-year-old who was in charge of one of the many underground groups operating in that area during the war. Camucci and his fighters got to Chappius before the Germans, and they hid him and 2 other American flyers from that plane for nearly 3 months until the end of the war. The partisans passed Chappius and the other 2 Americans from house to house and village to village towards the Swiss frontier. They were dressed in shawls, but they were still wearing their GI shoes. They were still in their boots. They even one time walked undetected past a German sentry. He and his crewmates eventually reached a home in the town of Assola, Italy, which is about 80 miles from Milan. The German headquarters was 2 houses away. The German drill grounds were across the street. Chappius and the other Americans could not walk near a window or talk above a whisper. They played cards with each other and with the Ugolini family with whom they stayed, and they shared 1 copy of Uncle Tom's Cabin. The Americans were nearly captured one evening when the fascist fiancé of one of the Ugolini daughter entered the house unannounced and found the Americans there playing cards. He threatened to turn them in, but then he was persuaded not to because his fiancé and her entire family would have been taken as well, right? So because they were aiding the Americans, so he thought better of it. Then VE Day arrived in May 1945, and Chappius and his crewmates stayed in Assola for a week-long celebration. I can only imagine what that celebration would have been like. On the night the war ended, the residents of Assola removed the seats from the town's theater for a victory ball. 2 orchestras played on stage. The liberated townspeople toasted the Americans. Chappius and the other Americans danced away, including with the Ugolini's daughters. Chappius stayed in touch with the family and sent them weekly food packages until after the war and beyond. And they stayed in touch with the Camucci family as well, who had initially rescued him. In 1974, Chappius returned to Italy to meet with Camucci for the first time in 20 years. And in August 1975, Camucci and his wife came to Michigan to meet the rest of the Chappius family. After the war, he rejoined the Wolverines and had his illustrious career in Ann Arbor, first leading Michigan's baseball team to a Big 9 championship and a 26-game win streak. And then he took his talents to the gridiron and next fall, breaking Otto Graham's Big 9 conference record for total offensive yards, despite having an an untreated broken wrist all season long. He went on to be drafted 26th overall that December by Sam Webb's Detroit Lions, but he chose to stay in Michigan for his senior year. If you notice, all the stories from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, almost all the Michigan guys say, "Oh, the Lions drafted me. Thanks, but no thanks."
No thanks, right?
Then he was here in 1947, which was a banner year for Chappius. He broke his own yardage record. He was a unanimous first-team All-American. He came in second in the Heisman Trophy voting. He was in the cover of Time magazine, which I actually have hanging on a wall in my house. And, of course, he was a part of the national championship winning team, the undefeated season capped by that 49-0 win over USC in the Rose Bowl, in which he was the MVP. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He instead opted to play for Branch Rickey's Brooklyn Dodgers, not the baseball ones, but the football ones of the All-American Football Conference for a contract of $17,000. But then the league folded in 1950. He retired from football. That is part of the great Bob Chappius story. He passed away June 14, 2012. John Bacon always adds a lot of color to that story because he's friends with the Chappius kids. He might have even coached, I believe, one of the grandkids of the Chappius family. We are 49 Bob Chappius days away until the start of the Michigan football season. Now, I've done my job, Sam. I always cover the former guys. You cover the current guys, so it's time for you to talk about junior long snapper, 6'1", out of Alpharetta, Georgia, Alpharetta High School. He's 238 pounds. Tell me all about number 49, William Wagner.
Yeah.
We are 49 William Wagner days away and 49 Bob Chappius days away until the start of the Michigan football season. The countdown of the Michigan football season is brought to you by our friends at Lewis Jewelers, your watch store, proud partner of Michigan Athletics and Sports Talk 1050 WTK.
I say that half jokingly. I know 90% of the Michigan roster. The knowledge of the roster starts to wane when we get to the walk-ons. Although I do know some of them. I do know some of them. So
it's always funny because when there's a certain stretch of numbers, and you can always tell like the transition from the old days to the new days of what numbers became more popular and different positions changing and what they're wearing. But there are certain numbers that don't have a lot of guys that are a part of it then or now. And then it's like, oh, this walk, and that's how you end up with the walk-ons and those numbers, right? I love to throw those names at Sam, and most of the time Sam looks at me like, huh?
Right.
It was like the best one, though, came the day that our buddy on Big Ten Network, they were here. How many years ago was it when DiNardo was here and they were asking those guys for their who's your surprise impact guy? And one of them picked a walk-on from Detroit because he looked
Howard Griffith.
It was Howard Griffith that did that because he looked the part.
Robert Edens.
There you go.
It was Robert Edens. He said, "Oh, I'm in practicing." Robert Edens is he's looking like he's about to break through. I'm like, what are you? I mean, that's no disrespect to Robert Edens, but
he was a walk-on at Michigan.
He was a walk-on, man. What are you talking about? And clearly, that was a point where they weren't getting much intel on the Schembechler Hall. I mean, they were on the field, but they were sharing no information on the team at all based on that exchange. It's like, oh well, I'll just watch this for the footage they got.
He was
listen to the commentary.
And he was in one of those random weird numbers as opposed to
right.
So there you go.
Yep, I hadn't thought about that until you mentioned it. I actually knew Robert Edens was Detroit Country Day, I believe. So anyway, look, it is now 12:27 here on this Saturday, live on location at the M-Den on South State Street, 303 South State Street to be exact.
So we asking these trivia questions. Well, we're going to be on the stream all morning till 3 o'clock. We are going to take a few commercial breaks, but kind of like the Masters, we are very limited commercial breaks from here till 3 o'clock. Are we doing these giveaways on air?
We don't have on air because
we want everybody to be a part of it.
We want everyone to be a part of it. So here's the thing. Why are we here? We're here for Rewind, the program Rewind, the battle against type 2 diabetes. Now, Rewind is a weight loss program that is not just it's not a diet. It's about teaching you to have a proper diet. They don't rule out, they don't tell you don't exercise because this diet, you won't be able to exercise with this diet like some programs do. There's the activity is encouraged, moderate activity is encouraged. But they do it in a unique way where you have other people who are going through Rewind, people who joined up at the same time as you are going to be part of your team that you interact with on the app. And then you are coached continuously by the doctors and nutritionists. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to a meeting with a Rewind member. Guy was out, Ted Efros. Ted Efros was out there at the Rewind gathering today because Ted is joining up. We went over to a breakfast at Anna's house. And my diet is restricted right now. There are only so many I can't eat. I can't eat non-starchy vegetables, or I can't eat starchy vegetables. I can eat non-starchy vegetables. Anyway, I didn't know what to get from this menu, so I got a link to the website for the restaurant. I sent it to my coach through the app. She looked at the menu and gave me 5 options that I could have. That's the kind of access that you have to your coaches, registered dietitians, nutritionists, doctors, people trained at the University of Michigan. I think that just puts it over the top.
That's really cool, because I'm going to guess that has to be the hardest part. And we've talked about this with Desmond a lot, because he does a lot of traveling, obviously, with his job. It's got to be one of the hardest parts of being on probably any program, but this one in particular, because the specifics that you do when you do travel, or if you have a lunch meeting, or whatever the case may be, right? Like the hardest part has to be, oh, we have this, we're going to lunch. I have to have this meeting. I have to have, if there's a businessman that's in a part of Rewind, then he's got to have a big closing meeting, and it's at a lunch. He's got to be able to eat. So you send them. That's a great part of the program.
Yeah, and so the program, we've been talking about it for 12 weeks on air, getting people involved. If you want more information on it, joinrewind.com/Michigan. There are 3 phases to the program. The first, I call the first phase initiation. That's what I call it. That's not the official name.
I think you might want to. No, we'll leave initiation. We don't want to go hazing, but
Yeah, but basically they get you used. They retrain your body, and as Dr. Rothberg will say, people say that it's so hard for them to lose weight, and everyone says it's just a willpower thing. She says, no, your body's chemistry, once you get to a certain weight, it establishes a new baseline. So when you come off of it, your body is trying to get back to that new baseline. So the first 12 weeks is about resetting that baseline. That's why she said, don't expect your weight loss to go down like a slope. Expect it to go down like a series of stairs. You'll go down and then you'll level off, because that's your new baseline. You'll go down and then you'll level off, because that's your new baseline. She said it'll keep going down like
walking down the steps of the big house.
Yeah. And so this is the kind of knowledge that you get through Rewind. And I think that's why we've been able to get people to join up. You can find more information at joinrewind.com/Michigan. So people have joined up.
I'm showing the stream.
Yeah. So one person joined up because Jake Butt came on the air. He's one of the ambassadors for Rewind. Jake Butt came on in support of the program to get the word out. And he said, you know what? I'm going to be a coach. And my role as a coach isn't the same as Anna's. He said, I'm just going to be I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to be
your hype man. He's your hype man.
I'm going to be your hype man.
He's the hype man.
And then there was a member who joined up immediately after Jake's first appearance. His name's Kevin. Kevin joined up at that point. And you heard Kevin a couple of weeks ago come on the show and talk about his success. He had outstanding success in that first week, and he's still having success. But I'm interested in what he lost in that first week. If you know how many pounds Kevin lost in his first week with Rewind, you will get this signed Jake Butt jersey. It has Butt on the back.
He says he has an answer. First one up here that has it. First one up here that has it.
You get this signed Jake Butt jersey. Come on down. It's like The Price is Right over here. First, let's get your name. Mike, who's standing in line for the autograph session, which starts at 1:30. Mike, how many pounds did Kevin lose in that first week? 13 pounds. You are right. Give that man his signed Jake Butt jersey. Congratulations. That man was paying attention.
What I really appreciate
that man was paying attention.
What I really appreciate is that, yes, we like people to pay attention, listen all the way through. You never know what it might be.
Absolutely.
You never know. What important information that Sam tells you becomes your key to winning something like a signed football jersey. How about that?
Absolutely. And so we are going to be doing another giveaway at 1:30, another giveaway at 2:30. And oh, by the way, if you just want to get your autograph, you have a picture or a ball, a shirt that you want Desmond Howard and or Ben Gedeon to sign, the autograph signing starts at 1:30 here at the MDN on campus, 303 South State Street. Starts at 1:30. The first 100 people are guaranteed autographs. So Some folks got in line early to get their bracelets. Come on down, get that bracelet. You'll have your opportunity to get that autograph. That starts at 1:30 today. So what time is it? Just a little past 12?
12:33.
So you still have about an hour to get on down here before the autograph signing starts and take your shot. And again, pay attention. We might just be giving you the next answer to the question that we are going to ask coming up at 1:30 when we give away the next jersey.
I'm just waiting to hear. I'm listening now. I got to pay closer attention. I want to get a signed jersey. I don't know what you say that might. I don't really pay attention. No, that's not true.
Right. No, hey man, it'll be interesting to get these guys their take on the upcoming season, because as you go around college football, I think the majority expectation is that Michigan will be back on. Last year was an anomaly for Jim Harbaugh. Like they're going to be better than that, but what level of better than that? There are a wide range of opinions on that.
Yeah, I've had conversations with people, and I say I could tell you what would make them a 10-win team, but I could also tell you how all those things could blow up in our face and how they're 6-7, whatever it might be. Right? It's what the hardest thing about this year. Michigan is not the only team in this category, but last year was this really weird year in so many different ways. You had teams that had some spring ball, some that had none. You had teams that, had no issues with COVID, others that got shut down for a while. All different things that happened. Players that opted out, players that didn't. And so how did those teams manage through those years? Last year, some teams handled it really well, and they won a bunch of football games, and they played pretty well. Other teams didn't actually handle all that well. I'm not sure that you can take anything from that year and say that then translates to the next year, because it was such an unusual year. But then when you go back 2 years in sports, I was thinking about this in the Michigan baseball context, because we hadn't seen them at home from the time they played in the championship game of the world, right in the World Series. They had a whole season we missed, and they came home. And you think about the turnover in players that were gone because we didn't see them play for nearly 2 years at home. And I was thinking about that in the football context. The 2020 season obviously happened, the games count, et cetera. And those guys are more experienced for it. But as a team, as a collection of what they accomplished, I don't know what you can really take from 2020. So I try to go back to 2019 as kind of the starting point. But there's so much turnover in coaching and players between 2019 and 2021 that it creates that many more question marks for this team, because they did not at times obviously handle things well last year when it came to COVID. They had players that they lost that they just never had access to, and all these different things that come into play. So now to me, it's almost like you're starting from scratch when you're trying to figure out, are they good or are they not going to be good? And you have to break it down position by position and figure out what they have. And the answer is there are a lot of question marks at these different positions. You can tell what the answers might be, right? You can say, in the quarterback room, you got this guy, and this guy. And if they play the way they have the potential playing, your quarterback should be pretty good. But what have you seen, right? So there's all these questions, and you could talk about that at almost every position on the entire field, and of course defensively, just the entire transition. So it gets to the point where you're like, people go, "What do you think of the season?" I go, "Well, they're gonna be a 10-win team if they do X, Y, and Z." And people look at me and I go, "I said if," and I go, and then if all that blows up because it doesn't happen, it could be the exact opposite. And that range is wider this year than most years when we're trying to figure out what we think we're going to see. That range seems wider this year than most years.
Yeah, I tell people all the time I can't pinpoint it. I absolutely expect them to be better. I mean, they're
right, but what is better? And that's this,
because last year it's hard to be as bad as things were last
Correct.
year. Is the point.
Correct.
And you look at what they have coming back this year. They have a little more experience at the quarterback position now. They have an offensive line that was young and inexperienced last year and battered and bruised. And so you got the young guys who have some experience.
But you just mentioned but those two positions to start with, and others as well. But those two, new quarterback coach, offensive line, and that's one of the questions people throw at me are questions about. My questions are less about the quarterback coach, because I've seen a little bit more. People do ask questions about Sharon. I know we hear good things, but people throw at me, "Well, he's never done." I'm like, "Well, he played it." Well, the guy is a good coach. He just hasn't coached this specifically here.
Look, I think it would be hard. I think even if Ed Warner were back, that the offensive line would be better.
Regardless. I get that. I get that.
So they will just improve based upon experience. Now, Will they improve to the point where they are a team strength? That remains to be seen. I just think that they won't be the quarterback is dropping back, and people say, why could Michigan throw deep? Could Michigan protect last year?
Yeah, I always say, if you call for a play that asks for a 7-step drop, you better not get hit after 5 steps.
Oh, dude, it just that wasn't happening. And in between the youth and the injuries, and then the absence of Jalen Mayfield, which was an injury thing, that all contributed to an offensive line performance that really, sort of it. I think it hindered every aspect of the offense. That's going to be better. Another year in the scheme for everyone, including those receivers who, remember, heading into the season, all of those guys thrust into bigger roles because Nico Collins suddenly isn't there. Offensively, they will be better. I don't know how much better, though, and the reason why that is so important is because the defense is a bigger question mark. And a lot of people point to the secondary with that. I think they have some – I love the coaching moves that they made there, but I think that they have some answers in their safety room that allow them some flexibility, some greater flexibility at corner. A guy like Dax Hill is a program type of athlete. He is one of the best athletes to ever be here. So that kind of player, you can play him at a lot of different positions and he can still be elite. He can be an elite safety. He can be elite at nickel, which is where they played him a lot of the spring. He can be elite at corner. If those other safeties, so Brad Hawkins is back. RJ Moten had a really good spring. Jordan Morant is back from injury. Young player Makari Page played some last year. That's the one position defensively that they recruited at the level under Don Brown that they did the coaching staffs prior. Because if you want to know the biggest difference from 16 until now, it's defensive recruiting. And I see Eric Adelson in the building. Defensive recruiting was what cratered in the grand scheme of things. People talk about Don Brown has forgotten more football than most people will ever know. But did he have the talent that could execute his scheme in the way in which those guys in 16 did, especially after the league now has the book on you? Even more important that you have those elite athletes that can execute your scheme. And they just didn't have it on the level of, Ben Gedeon and Taco Charlton and Chris Wormley and DeMonte Thomas and Delano Hill and Jordan Lewis and all these guys that were pros.
I'll say you just mentioned a whole bunch of NFL guys.
Jabril Peppers, all these guys that were pros on that defense. Remember, on the bench was Rashawn Gary. On the bench was Devin Bush. That defense was loaded that he inherited in 2016. They didn't recruit defense like that from that point on. So if you're Jim Harbaugh and you're talking about, you're looking at last year, you aren't exaggerating the meaning of last year because of all of the guys that were missing, but you're also not ignoring some of the things that maybe were the continuation of a pattern. Defense was declining. Defense recruiting was an issue. So let's fix that. He revamped the defensive staff. Is that a panacea, though? Because they come in with a new scheme. You got to teach these guys. And unlike offense, same scheme on offense with some tweaks, but it's the same scheme. New scheme on offense. These coaches have to learn what these players can execute in the scheme because it's not a perfect fit. You're changing formationally, defensively. That's a huge question mark. And maybe the question mark within the question mark is, where's the biggest issue defensively? I don't think it's the secondary because you can move Dax Hill around.
It's literally what you just asked. Where's the biggest?
It is up front. Do they have the guys up front that can hold up physically against really, super athletic or really strong offensive lines? Because the size question. That's why they went to get a Jordan Whitley, even though he didn't play at Oregon State, even though he's 360 pounds. You just need some answers. You need Mozzie Smith. They said he had a really good spring. That has to translate for them because that Washington game,
they're big.
Washington is big. Washington averages 325 pounds along the offensive line. They have a 360-pound offensive guard. Now, you can have a good defensive line that'll struggle against a line that size. But for a line that is in question about how well they will hold up, that to me is a big litmus test. If they don't get blown off the ball in that game, it will bode well for Michigan the rest of the season. It will be very telling for the defense how the defensive line does in that Washington game.
So now this is probably obvious because these guys will probably be ideal in just about any defense. But in this new Ravens defense, there are certain guys that are built to play in this defense. Aiden Hutchinson is built to be an edge in this defense. Okay, he is the prototypical Ravens edge to do what they want him to do, right? So that guy is going to be, he stays healthy. He's going to, especially if the defensive line does what they're supposed to do. But that is, you said, the biggest question mark. Dax Hill in multiple roles. He whether it's the Ed Reed role at safety or if they put him at nickel, there's multiple roles in this defense that Dax Hill is going to excel at. I think Hawkins is the same way. There's a few other guys as well. I think you're right. To me, it comes down to starting with the guys up front. Where's the beef? But this is the thing with me. Like when you squint real, you kind of squint. You're like, all right, I can see that. I can see that coming together. If you squint real tight, you can see an 11 on this defense. You can see an 11-guy group coming together to be a pretty solid crew with Mozzie or Hinton or right, whatever the combination of the three guys up front are between Hinton and Mozzie and Jeter and Whitley, whoever the combination of those three, I can see three of those. I can kind of I can see three of those guys playing pretty well. Then you put Aiden on one side, and then I'm not sure who it is. They've got a lot of guys built for the other edge. They just don't have a lot of experience on the other edge. Can Ross rebound at the linebacker position? Do they have a place to play somewhere like the Viper guys that are kind of tweener positions in this defense? But I can squint and kind of see an 11. The problem is that you need more than 11, and I'm not sure that I can see much beyond that 11. Mm-hmm. Are the corners going to be great? I don't necessarily think so, but they're going to be asked to do different things than they were asked to do last year, which may help them too, right? They're doing different. If it's less man, if there's more zone, if they're giving more help by the safeties, there are things that the corners can do that'll just be just a lot different than they were asked to do last year. I can kind of see a solid 11. Again, I'm not saying top 10 defense or anything like that off the jump, but I can see a solid 11, but they need more than that. And I'm not sure how far beyond that. And again, I have to squint to see it. So can they get this all between spring ball and fall camp? Can they put all these parts together? I can kind of see it. It's just a matter of it. Yeah, it's a total work in progress. And as you said, the second game is going to be a real litmus test. Come talk to us at the end of the Rutgers game. I know it's kind of a cop out, but 4 games in, the 3 non-conference games and the opening of Big Ten season, we're going to have so many of these questions answered. And if they're not answered, we're going to be in big trouble, right? We're going to have a lot of answers, or we're going to be in big trouble once we get to the end of September, where that Michigan should be 3-1 or 4-0, preferably 4-0, regardless of, how good or bad that defense is, just based on obviously the opponent as well. So 4 home games to start the year. That's kind of the litmus test to see where you are, because I don't know how many questions we're going to even get in August. If we get stuff, if you jump into the sub and get information coming out, I don't know how much info is really going to answer these questions. But through 4 weeks, hopefully we have answers and not, oh boy, we have more questions.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we'll be here with you every step of the way. We'll be here with you every step of the way through the autograph signing with Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon here at the MDen 303 South State Street. If you aren't in the building, still time for you to get down here. The autograph signing doesn't start until 1:30, as they will be signing autographs to at least the first 100 people that show up. And you can come get in line right now, get your bracelet. You'll be guaranteed to get your autograph. And why are they here? They're here to support this program called Rewind. Rewind is a weight loss program. It is innovative. It is unique. It is, to me, the best program of its kind. I mean, I was about to say of its kind. I haven't seen anything like it. It's not a diet. It teaches you how to have a proper diet, and you get encouragement from the results.
It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah, you get encouragement from the results, especially in the first 12 weeks. You will lose 15 to 25% of your body weight in the first 12 weeks if you do the program. Promise you. I'm 9.5 weeks in. I've already done the 15%.
Yeah, you're one of the guys sent your weight back to you.
Yeah. Peter did. One of the founders of Rewind, he sent me a slam ball in the mail. And it was a 30-pound slam
when
ball.
you would hit the 30-pound plateau.
When I hit 30 pounds, and he was like, "This is what you were carrying around." I was like, man, it puts it in perspective.
I'm kind of like, not that you would actually do this, but it's like, all right, Sam, you got a camp coming up. You have to cover, put a front pack on with a 30-pound weight ball, and then add your backpack that you carry and your tripod or whatever else you're carrying. Because if anyone's ever seen Sam at an event, it's like I won't make that analogy.
I scale.
You scaled your bag down a little.
I got a smaller bag now. So the only time I carry out the big bag is when I don't know what I'm going to need, and I'm going to be at a place for like a long period of time. I do carry a smaller bag, but that bag
still weighs a lot.
It still weighs about 30 pounds.
Right, so you put that on your back, put your weight ball in the front, and then walk around one of those camps, and then take it off and tell me how different it was.
Yeah, it definitely feels different moving around now. So you can get more information on the program. JoinRewind.com/Michigan. Again, JoinRewind.com/Michigan. Again, the focus of the program, the initiative right now, and why they linked up with Michigan football. They have a goal of sometime, somewhere in the not too distant future, having enough Rewind members that have defeated type 2 diabetes or who have changed their pre-diabetic status, and now they can fill the big house with those people. That's what they want to do eventually. But whether you are pre-diabetic or you have type 2 diabetes, you have any weight loss or any weight influenced health condition, Rewind can be the answer for you. First 12 weeks where they, soups and shakes and salads. Second 12 weeks, they intro a regular meal back into your diet. And then after that, after 6 months, the next year and a half, it's all your regular diet, but now you have the tools necessary to maintain that new weight. It is different. You're getting support from doctors from the University of Michigan, and you're getting support from your teammates that you joined up Join Rewind with. You can get more information by going to joinrewind.com/Michigan. We got to get to a break. Be back on the other side here on a special edition of the Michigan Insider, live from the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street, right here in Ann Arbor. Come on down, get your autograph signed by Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon starting at 1:30 today. Hope to see you down here on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket.
Oh, limited commercials, and we're still on the stream. Gracie, come over here. Gracie, come over here.
Des is in the building.
Gracie, come here. All right, now you can say hi. You want to do it? You don't wave at the camera?
How you doing?
How are you? All right,
doing all right.
I'm going to get Desmond in here.
36 pounds so far. 36 and counting. Hi, Grace. How you doing? Oh, high five. Gracie. 2.
Still technically on stream. I got a question that came across.
Which was what?
On YouTube, Malachi wanted to weigh in, wanted to know, as I bring it up here, how much does this weight program cost, and can I buy it all the way down here from Tennessee?
I will ask the Rewind people that question.
There you go. James Brown
sent You are? Okay, I didn't know you were type 2. Yeah, I remember that your diet was pretty aggressive.
Did I do something? Yeah, I got a webcam right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The commercial, yeah. You just said something about COVID came back from 70 to 75.
Hey, Miz, can you hear me?
Miz, get on the mic. Get on the headset. What are you saying? Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. The baseline is really low.
All right, how long till we're back, Benjamin?
Well, I was just about to say, like, less than 30 seconds because it didn't autofill another.
That's fine.
Seconds.
Sam, we're back in about 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, I learned a lot from this man right here. I start getting on a bike. You see me rolling through rolling hills. Yeah, I'm not doing 50 miles yet, though, Des.
Hey, small steps, my friend. I didn't jump on the bike and do 50 either, brother.
Now back to Sam Webb at the M-Den with more Rewind on Saturday on Sports Talk 1050 WT.
Here on Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com, live on location at the M-Den on campus, 303 South State Street. And the people have come out to see the man, number 21. I remember when they called this dude Magic. They called him Magic. Man, I still have the newspaper clippings in my mom's house. They said, "You Magic." Not only was he the man on the field, he was also the man because he could cut hair. You could cut hair back in the day too, right, Des?
True.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Say,
true.
man, I know my Desmond Howard history. Following back in the day, but did this thing on the football field, did this thing in the NFL, now doing this thing in a broadcasting chair. But if you follow Des on Twitter, which I do, you understand that health, fitness, eating right, those are all major focuses of yours. Encouraging people to be healthy is a major focus for Desmond Howard. And that's what brings you back to Ann Arbor today. Desmond Howard, welcome home.
Hey, man, I tell you what, thank you for that welcome. I really appreciate that introduction. And, and as I come across people in my travels, if they say, hey, Magic, I know they go way, way, way back with me. So, so thanks for tossing that out there, brother. Yeah. So health and fitness, wellness is really important to me. That's what brings me here to Ann Arbor this weekend. And being an ambassador of Rewind has been just tremendous so far. Sam, I've always been interested in, doing community service, right? I was raised by parents who thought that was very important. I did it at a young age, even helping my mom out in home when she did daycare helping out with other kids. So, community service continued when I came here. It was a big, strong emphasis here as a student athlete. We do things at the hospital, go to Mott and go help out as much as we could. So doing community service and helping people out has always been just a part of my DNA, so to speak. And then when this came across the table to be an ambassador for Rewind to help, to help defeat, not just reverse, but we want to defeat type 2 diabetes. I was like, this is right up my alley. Growing up, I've had relatives who struggled with type 2 diabetes. You talk today to people, I think that there's always like a friend of a friend who knows someone who has type 2 diabetes who's struggling with it. And so it was just like, to me, like a natural marriage for me to become an ambassador, because I believe so much in health and wellness and prevention.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about this, though, is even if you've already been diagnosed, we can reverse it. You still can defeat it. So I probably have said too much. Right
No,
now.
man.
Yeah.
No.
I'm so passionate about it. I love it.
You should, but it makes a difference because when the program was brought to me, I was listening, and there was another weight loss program that I won't name it, but that was brought to the station before.
Right.
And they talked to me about it, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And then we can advertise, but I'm not going to advertise something that I'm not doing.
Correct.
Right.
100%.
But then I heard about this, and okay, this sounds interesting.
Right.
And one of the differences with that program, the other one, was they wanted you to do this diet and you couldn't exercise. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right, right?
Right.
And so then I heard about this when they said, okay, no, it is a meal replacement in the first 12 weeks.
Correct.
But there's activity involved in that. So, okay, this sounds better.
Right.
Then they said Desmond is an ambassador. And following you on Twitter, I know how health conscious you are.
Yes, sir.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not only going to have you on the air to talk about it,
right,
but I'm going to do it.
That's
too.
what I'm talking about, brother.
So I'm doing it.
About. Yes, sir.
My wife is doing it. So 9.5 weeks in, 9.5 weeks in, I'm down 36.
Okay.
She's down 32.
Talk that talk.
And people have started joining up. One of the members who came out to the meet and greet this morning, Kevin said, man, I joined because I was listening to you guys on the air.
Absolutely.
He's about 3 weeks in. His first week, he lost 13 pounds.
Brother.
So it makes a difference, especially when you have people you trust putting their name behind it.
Hey, don't talk about it, be about it. And so I'm glad you're not only talking about it, you decide to be about it. And that's tremendous. And you're leading by example, which makes a world of difference to everyone who's listening. Your testimonial, some of the testimonials I heard earlier today, I just put it to you like this, Sam. I would not attach my name to it if I didn't believe in it 100% and if it wasn't effective. And we have the testimonials to back it up, to prove it. It's a great structure that they have in place. All you have to do is take that first step. if you take the first step and you sign up, I'm telling you, they will make sure you're taking good care of. We have fantastic coaches. You did the interview with Dr. Amy, who's just, man, I had
I
so
love
many
Amy.
people. Man, I'm telling you and everybody else.
I love Amy, man.
Oh, brother.
Hey, that's the only woman my wife will let me say I love her and not get mad. I love Amy Rothberg.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's wonderful to be able to change and to help people change their lives, because I mean, your health is wealth. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that you're able to be as healthy as you can, not for yourself, for loved ones, for kids, for people who depend on you.
Mhm.
So this is just tremendous to be able to affect the lives in such a positive way, man. I've been blessed, and I love to try to share those blessings with other people and see them grow, to see them develop, to see them morph into a person that they had doubts, because there's always this hesitancy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm struggling with obesity, I'm struggling with type 2 diabetes, and so there's always like this hesitation to open yourself up and, like, almost become kind of vulnerable. But once you do open up and once you do take that first step and you start to see, okay, this can work. This is something I can do. And then you have the team behind it. I'm big on the team. I'm big on team sports. So you have the team to support you. That makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, we have Desmond Howard with us here at the Emden on State Street, 303 South State Street. He is an ambassador for this program, Rewind, that you've been hearing about for 3 months now. If you've been on the fence, I encourage you to at least get the information. Go to joinrewind.com/Michigan. Again, joinrewind.com/Michigan.
Yep.
Des, one of the biggest lessons for me in this program is that you can't just exercise your way to health.
No.
I thought that.
No, you can't.
I thought you could just go to the gym. You can eat what you want.
Right.
Go to the gym and it'll be fine. And
Right.
so, I was going to the gym. I was doing a CrossFit. I was stronger than I'd ever been. I could
Right.
lift more than I could ever lift, but I would look at the scale.
Yeah.
And it was stagnant. it wasn't moving. And you know G Harden.
Right.
Like, I would go out with G Harden from time to time, and
Yeah.
I'd see the stuff he's eating. I was like, G,
Yeah, right.
give me some food. Give me some food, man. I mean,
Am I a rabbit over here? Give me some food. I'm not a rabbit.
Exactly. I'm going to the gym. But what I learned here is diet is probably more of the battle. You need fitness too. You need activity too. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that diet right, you're not going to have that health right. And so that gets me back to you. The thing you encourage healthy eating and healthy cooking. So people have been asking me since you came on. Des was talking about this trail mix that he makes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, he makes his own trail mix. So you travel a lot, and people are always going to have things out there that don't fit your diet. So you got to carry your own stuff. So they say, can you have Des please talk about his trail mix? I don't know if your recipe is proprietary, but if you're open to sharing what you do to put your trail mix together, people want to hear about it.
I'll tell you like this. So when I was drafted in NFL, the Washington Redskins, well, the Washington football team now, they asked me for my favorite recipe. I said something my mom makes. It's a cake, and so my mom let them, use this recipe. And I remember the funniest thing is that, I had a teammate who said, it just doesn't taste like your mother's cake. That's because a real chef never gives all of the ingredients, not the complete recipe. There's always going to be something missing. So I'm going to tell you a trail mix, but it's going to be a watered down version.
Okay.
Because I learned from my mama.
Okay.
No, but listen, basically, I mean, I take almonds, it's just raw almonds, and I'll place them in a cooking sheet. Set the oven like at 350 because I like to roast them. You want to roast your almonds, your peanuts, whatever type of nuts you're going to use. Roasting nuts, it brings out the true flavor in them. And so I roast my almonds probably at about 350 for probably like maybe about 11 to 12 minutes, and then maybe walnuts. I like walnuts. I like pecans or pecans, depends on what part of the country you're from. Yeah. So I like those. And so I use my various nuts and I always roast them, different temperature, different minutes per, depends on the nuts. So anyway, And then I get like, I think a very underrated sweetener is something that we grew up on as kids are raisins.
Okay.
I think raisins are a very underrated sweetener. I mean, they taste good. So either you can use raisins or you could use craisins.
Okay.
You know, I also get like dried cherries.
Okay.
You get sun dried cherries and put them in there. And then I like seeds too. So sometimes I like maybe sunflower seeds,
Okay.
pumpkin seeds, and put that in my trail mix. And right at that point, you know, you got a nice little healthy trail mix that you can travel with. I wish I should have brought it with me. I wish I would have brought it with me. I travel with my own popcorn too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Your own
I
popcorn.
make, you know, I got like one of those like popcorn poppers that just pops it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like raw, you know, no salt, no butter, it's just like dry popcorn. And I take olive oil. You use olive oil as opposed to butter, and it has like that same consistency
Okay.
on the popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I may use some like Himalayan sea salt, just a little bit of that. Man, it's the best.
So,
It's the
look,
absolute best, brother.
I hope you take. Are you taking notes out there, people? Are you taking notes? I hope you're taking notes, because remember, at coming up at 1:30, we're going to be doing another jersey giveaway at 1:30. So be ready, because we're going to ask you a question to see how closely you were paying attention to Desmond Howard here on the air. He's going to be signing autographs starting at 1:30 along with Ben Gedeon here at the Emden on State Street, 303 South State Street to be exact. So come on down. The first 100 people are guaranteed autographs. Cannot be that we said Desmond was going to be here. The people were like, man, does that love that you get, does the feeling ever change? Does it? Because, you know, the more you get of something, the more used to it you get. Right. But I wonder, is it the same way when people show love? Because I can only imagine what it feels like to walk into the room and everybody be like, wow, Desmond's here.
Love begets love. You know, I hope I give it back. You know what I mean? I hope that when people around me, they feel it too, that they feel it, because this is a special place, you know, to me. I love Ann Arbor. I can't come here enough. I was actually talking to one of the Rewind coaches who went to school here, and now she lives in San Francisco, but she's here for the weekend too. And I told her, I said, you know, coming here like recharges my battery. Mm-hmm. It like just lights my soul. It does every time I come here. And she said, you know what? That's the same feeling I get too. She said, you know, you put it differently, but that's how I feel. Like she's like, you know, it's so green, it's so lush, because she's in San Fran. Yeah. She's like, and then you start to look at the, you know, the some of the places that you've gone, some of your favorite eateries and things like that. I said, yeah, so just coming here, it just recharges my batteries. I love coming to Ann Arbor.
All right, so Des, you know, obviously you said recharge your battery. Michigan, on the football side of things, has used this offseason. Jim Harbaugh has used this offseason to recharge the program's battery. A lot of changes staff-wise. Yeah. You're going to have a totally different scheme defensively. It makes it hard to know what the bar of expectation is. What's a realistic expectation for a team that has so much change? Right. You haven't played the game and now analyzing the game. How do you see it? A team coming off of clearly in a season that was an anomaly. They weren't a losing program before last year. They had a lot of guys missing, but what's a reasonable expectation for them this year with all the changes?
Well, that's a great question. And I'm actually in the process of doing my homework on what they've, I guess, the changes that they've made defensively. I was talking to the guys earlier today. I was like, man, you got the linebacker coach from Baltimore. Outside of that, I know nothing about this man. Mm-hmm. So as I said, so now is the time to start to do this homework, do the research, and not only look at him, but look at his staff, look at his hires. You know, try to look at where he came from and what type of defense they ran, and you know, because he's a fruit from someone's tree. So you look at the coaching tree, you know, okay, this guy comes from this guy. So this is the system they like to run. So you try to start to, you know, figure out what he likes to run, you know, what type of system he's comfortable with, what he's used to. And then, but he has to tailor everything to the players. Like, to me, the reason Don Brown is not here today is because he's consistently tried to implement a system that he did not have the personnel to run. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and it gradually showed up, you know, year after year, game after game. You know, it started with the big games, but then it trickled down to like the games that are not so big, mm-hmm. you know. So anyway, that's the biggest to me piece of the puzzle. Not only do you have to look at this new coordinator and his staff and what they like to do and what they normally or traditionally would do, but now you have to look at the personnel that they have, and they have to make sure that this personnel can fit and what they're doing can fit the personnel. So it has to match, it has to mesh like that. And that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. But man, I'm as clueless as you are right now.
All right, so I want to get one more question in before we let you get ready to do these autograph signs, and we'll get Ben Gedeon on.
No problem.
But
thanks for having me.
Name, image, likeness.
Yes,
I can
sir.
only imagine what that would have meant for Desmond Howard, because
Yeah.
who didn't have, number 21? Who didn't try to spat their shoes like Des? Who didn't
Right,
try
who
to, didn't try to do all these things like Desmond Howard, right? So
right.
I'm curious what you think about that. From a player perspective
Correct.
and the significance of it. And then what impact do you think it's going to have on teams? What impact do you think it's going to have on college athletics?
Well, I've been on the side of the players for quite some time as far as thinking that they should benefit from their own name, image, and likeness. It only made perfect common sense to me. It was ridiculous that a player could never benefit from his likeness. I go as far back as Reggie Bush. Like when that whole thing went down at USC with Reggie Bush, I remember going on ESPN News and I said, I think USC owes Reggie Bush money. And then people thought I was crazy. They thought I was like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. I'm like, no, it makes perfect sense. I said, just open the books. I said, no one wants to ever open the books because the books tell the story. I said, you open the books and you see that how many jerseys, number 5 jerseys, they sell before he wore the number 5 jersey.
Right.
Okay, now after he wore the number 5 jersey, how many of them jerseys they sell? You cannot tell me that this man did not bring value to that jersey. I mean, it's insane for you to say that, but he gets nothing from it. In the school gets everything. I said, so to me, a player should have always been able to benefit from the value he brings to that university, to that jersey, to whatever has his likeness on it. Even though that may be a USC, whatever on the front, he doesn't have to say Bush on the back. Everyone knows who wears number 5. It ain't Pete Carroll, you know what I'm saying? So I was always I was adamant about that from day one. It made no sense. So I'm for it. It makes perfect sense. Now there are going to be some bumps in the road, of course there is. The newness of it is going to bring some scammers and things of that nature. But that doesn't mean that these guys don't deserve what they're getting. What they've earned. So I'm for it. I was always for it. It just became popular to be pro NIL recently,
right?
Especially after Ed O'Bannon blew everything up with the NCAA game, EA Sports game,
right?
And then it became more and more popular. So now it's common. Everybody, okay, yeah, it was this never should have been the situation. Never.
So do you think? So you've been in a pro locker room. This is always the example that I use when people say, "Well, it's going to create separation in the locker room." I say, "Well, what's the difference between?" I mean, they go. Pro locker rooms they thrive, and you got different guys making different amounts.
Right.
In the pros, why
right.
You got different coaches on campus? I mean, Jim Harbaugh makes more than any other coach on campus. Juwan Howard makes, but somehow, some way. There's cohesion on the athletic campus. Why is it different when it's applied to a college locker room? Sam, I don't think it is, but I wonder what you think.
Sam, I'm 51 years old. My tolerance for stuff like that is really, really low. So I don't even address dumb questions like that. It's like, I mean, do you say that when Nick Saban gets an extension? Well, how is this going to create separation in the coach's locker room? Nick is making all this money. These assistant coaches aren't making X, Y, and Z. I mean, who says this? Like, who brings these arguments to you? Like no one who ever has strapped on a helmet. You know what I mean? If they do, then they don't get the big picture because they didn't ever present that problem or that situation when it involves a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, in the NFL, we understand certain people are going to make certain amounts of money. It's not an equal pay scale for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. So why would that be an issue for these college student athletes who want to be in the NFL, who wants to be in the NBA. They understand it's going to be different scales when they get to that level. So you might as well start dealing with it now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Desmond Howard is in the building. He is back to support Rewind.
Yes, sir.
This innovative weight loss program. It is not a diet. I keep stressing that to people. It is not a diet.
Not a diet.
It's a way of life.
Absolutely.
It indoctrinates your body.
That's right.
Into a new way to be.
And the man knows because he's doing it.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
I'm doing it.
Speaks from experience.
Yeah, 9.5 weeks in, 36 pounds down. I promise you. They say in the first 12 weeks of the program, you will lose between 15 and 25% of your body weight. I've already lost the 15. Everyone that I've talked to,
great.
They are experiencing these kinds of results if they stick to the program. So,
yes, sir. Yes,
Desmond,
sir.
I got to thank you, man. I got to thank you personally because your name being on the program was part of getting me to do it. Man, so you're offering that encouragement to me and to everyone that's listening, man.
Sam,
so thanks a lot.
That means everything, brother. Really, that touches my heart. So thank you for sharing that with me. It really does. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Desmond Howard, folks.
Yes, sir.
Desmond Howard in the building. He's going to be signing autographs starting at 1:30. Starting at 1:30. If you're in the neighborhood, you're in the area, MDen on campus, 303 South State Street, come on down, make your way down. The first 100 people are guaranteed to get their autographs from Desmond Howard. But Des is not the only ambassador. Des is not the only ambassador here, a former player, even he's a former Michigan player from Ohio. Right? I mean, that's the staple. One of the staples of Michigan's success has been Ohio-born players coming up and spurning the Buckeyes to play for Michigan. Des did that. Ben Gedeon did that, who is also here. He is a Rewind ambassador. Ben, good to see you.
Good to see you, Sam.
Yeah, man. So I told this story when you were on with us during the series, the 12-week series we had during the show. But I remember the first time I saw you, you came to Michigan's camp and you were an underclassman. You were one of the younger guys at the camp at the time, and you had a fantastic day. And I wonder, I didn't ask you this at the time, but looking back on that camp, did you know that, man, I'm really impressed and I'm doing really well here? What were you thinking? What were you feeling as you were going through it?
Right. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, that was my first real college camp where I was being looked at as a prospect, right? So my head was spinning the whole time. Running from drill to drill, I really had no idea what was going on. But I think that day, I mean, I really fell in love with Michigan, the campus, and I know Desmond was saying it, just being back recharges me. It's the same exact feeling that he described. I couldn't put my hand on it, but that was it. Just being recharged, being back in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and you were such a versatile guy. I mean, you played like everything in high school. Like what all positions did you play in high school?
Yeah, quarterback, which is hard to believe. I can't throw the ball anymore like that. But yeah, quarterback, played some offense and linebacker. It was fun. Yeah. Returned some punts, which was also hard to believe.
Yeah, did all these things out of Hudson, Ohio. I remember the stories I heard the first time I covered you. I think the first story I wrote on you, I said they call him the Freak. That was like the nickname that they said at the time, and we could see some of that athleticism at play in camp that day. You obviously came on to Michigan, had a great career, and then you went on to the pros and played there for a while before retiring. But you're back at the University of Michigan, and what brought you back today, though, is this program Rewind. So if you can rewind the tape, and tell us what got you involved. What made this be a thing that you said I need to be a part of?
Right. I think it was, talking to Peter, the founder, and the team that he's built in the idea that you can reverse this disease. I think for the longest time, the notion is that you're stuck with it, right? Once you're diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, there's really nothing you can do. And it's been proven with Amy, who's here today, and in the program that they've rolled out, that it helps. It actually reverses the disease, and you're already seeing unbelievable results. So I was just fascinated by that and bought into the mission that Peter and the team has started here.
Yeah, and the inspiration that it offers people. A lot of times you might see people on the fence about something, and seeing someone you trust vouch for it makes a difference. And it did that with me. I was telling Desmond, his name was on it. Then they said, Jake's involved and Ben Gedeon's involved. I was like, okay, all right, this is legit. That means, you put your name on something. I know you guys don't do that lightly. That means something when you put your name behind something.
Right. I mean, absolutely. Especially Desmond, right? When Desmond puts his name behind something, even myself, I was attracted to it. And I think Jake was thinking the same way. And 9 weeks, what, 30 35 pounds?
36 pounds.
Gosh,
Yeah.
unbelievable. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That
man.
is awesome.
Yep. And my goal, they said the range in the first 12 weeks. So if you are familiar with the program, Rewind is not a diet. It's a program. It teaches you how to have a good diet. So the first phase where they sort of indoctrinate you into the program, it is a 12-week phase of meal replacements. Now, soups and shakes. Now, the first 2 weeks are soups and shakes exclusively. Once you get to week 3, you're able to incorporate non-starchy vegetables. So you can have salads. You can learn things about. I never knew zucchini could be made into rice. You can have zucchini rice, eggplant pasta. You can do different things that are, substitute kale chips, things that I never considered before.
Right.
Guy who skipped vegetables at the table, Ben, I'm getting vegetables in all these different places now, and it's working. And so you drop that 15 to 25% of your weight in the first 12 weeks if you stick to it. And the great thing about it, no one is saying that this is just some simple thing that you just do without some effort. That's why it's great to be on a team, to have people encouraging you like you and Jake and Desmond and the team members that you join Rewind with.
Right, absolutely. And it's the power of buying into the system, because it works, right? And it's going to be hard work. But when you buy in and you're all in, amazing changes can happen. And you've started to see that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And so I've been encouraging people by being real with them to let them know that in the first couple of weeks, it was more of a mental battle than I expected it to be. Not because I was hungry. It wasn't this thing. Before Rewind, I could eat once a day and be totally fine. Totally fine. Now all of a sudden you tell me you got to have the 4 to 5 shakes a day and it's only shakes or soups. Now all of a sudden your mind is playing tricks on you, man. I got to eat. I got to have some meat. I got to have, and you go through that for the first week and a half or two. And then you coast after that. If you stick with the program, you will lose the weight. You will lose a good portion of it anyway. And my goal was 20% in 12 weeks, 20 in the first 12 weeks. That would be 50 pounds. I am 36 in. I have about 18 days to go. So I got a shot, man. I got a shot, man.
I believe in you, Sam.
I got a shot, man.
You got it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But, very encouraging, like I said, to have, former players like you encouraging others to join the team. If you're interested, go to joinrewind.com/Michigan. Again, joinrewind.com/Michigan. Coming up in about 10 minutes, Ben is going to start signing autographs with Desmond to the folks who have come down here to the M-Den at 303 South State Street. Still plenty of time for you to make it on down. The first 100 people are guaranteed autographs. Ben, I'd be remiss if I just didn't ask you a few football questions, man.
Let's hear it.
I know, as I just posed to Desmond, I know that this is a season where there's been a lot of change, especially defensively, where they're going all new schematically. They're bringing in this Ravens scheme, and so the personnel isn't a perfect fit. You being a former player, you seeing pro defenses, you may be seeing the Ravens defense in the past. I wonder what you think, with all that knowledge, a realistic sort of expectation or a realistic transition, what it looks like and record-wise, what you kind of think is this would be something that fans should be okay with as at least a minimum.
Right. Well, I mean, Desmond hit it on the nail. It's going to be interesting to see this defense and how he fits his schemes into the personnel that they have there right now, because I'm sure with Baltimore, they were very multiple in what they did in the back end and even in the front end. And in college, you got to, simplify it a little bit more to the personnel that you have, right? Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see how he does that. And but I am looking forward to seeing some, multiple coverages and mixing up the look a little bit. Mm-hmm. A little different from the past, few years. But it'll be fun to watch. I'm excited. And to be honest, I don't know the personnel all that well, but I am excited to see these guys fly around this year. I think it's going to be a fun year.
You come at this from a unique perspective, Ben, because you were a part of a great defense, one of the all-time great defenses. You're loaded with talent. You were a pro, and Taco's a pro, and Wormley's a pro, and Peppers is a pro. All these pros on your defense. Now, as I've been saying all along, Don Brown, from a football mind standpoint, you won't find many football, even among coaches, certainly among fans. He forgot more football than a lot of folks will know. But that defense that he inherited, you guys, you had pros everywhere. So you guys could maybe do a lot of stuff
Right.
that, some other teams
Oh, absolutely.
probably can't do, especially once the league starts to, diagnose what you do. So between, you don't have Ben Gedeon out there and they kind of know what you do, it kind of made it hard to run some of the things that you were doing schematically to keep running that with different personnel.
Right. I think so. I think Don's defense was almost tailor-made for that group because we had guys at corner, safety, Jabril, Jordan Lewis, all these guys are still playing who could man up every single play, no matter what team we played, right? And then you saw the personnel change a little bit in the next 2 to 3 years, and I think it needed to be a little bit more multiple than it was with our group. But Don's a great football mind, got a lot of respect for him and love playing for him. But excited to see these next group of guys come out, and it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm really excited because I know he's a good friend of yours. I'm really excited for Jake.
Oh yeah.
Jake, we talk about the sacrifices that guys make, right? To play the sport they love. He played in that bowl game, man. And you ask him to this day, he said, you ask me to do it over again and I would. And that has made his pro career a tough journey for him. But here he is, healthy and giving it another shot.
Yes, sir.
I hate the Chicago Bears, but I love Jake Butt. And so he's taking another run at it with the Bears. So what's that like to see your boy,
awesome,
take another run at it?
3 ACLs, right? He's come back from 3 ACLs, 2 in the last 4 years. So it is inspiring at the least, right? And he's gonna make a team. He's good enough. He's a good enough player. There's no doubt in my mind. He's gonna stay healthy, and I'm excited for him. It's gonna be so fun to watch, man, because he's gone through a long road and he kind of always stayed the course.
Yeah, super, super good dude. And it just makes me feel, because I watched you guys in high school, watched you come up as college players and then follow your pro careers. And Jake still giving it a shot in the NFL. You are now you're retired. So bring people up to speed on what's going on with Ben Gedeon.
That's right. Yeah. Kind of transitioning out of football here, looking towards the next step, maybe, going back to grad school, figuring out my next options. But exciting time. Kind of close the chapter, move on to the next.
Yeah, man.
And always watch Michigan football, though. That's always a big part of me. So I'll be back here watching more games now that I got some free time in the fall.
Yeah, that's good, man. Hopefully, man, them seeing an Ohio guy around, a successful Ohio guy around, to see all you guys had Ohio State. You could have gone to Ohio State if you wanted to, and you chose Michigan. That wasn't that long ago. I mean, this is not going back decades. This is going back a few years, just to show that it is possible that you got top Ohio guys that can come up to Michigan and be successful. So you being even around, just seeing the example, I think could be inspiring to some people. Just like you're inspiring people to become a part of Rewind. Ben Gedeon has been with us. Ben, appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir, Sam. Always great talking to you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Ben is going to go over with Desmond and start signing autographs beginning at 1:30. So you still have time to make it down here to the Emden on State Street. 303 South State Street is the address. You can get your autograph signed by a couple of former Wolverine standouts, back here to support this novel program. I'm telling you, you may have tried a lot of other things. This is different. The other thing I tried, I can't say that I ever tried a diet program, but I did. I was a religious CrossFit guy, and I am going to get back in the gym. COVID changed a lot of things. I didn't go to the gym once COVID hit, and a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people picked up weight as a result. I wound up picking up about 25 or so pounds, and I was already, carrying a spare tire. So it's like, man, you got to do something. Got to do something just to get you jump started, to start getting you back right. And this was that program for me, and I'm telling you, the results are clear. They say in the first 12 weeks where you're in the meal replacement phase, you're going to lose 15 to 25% of the weight. Through 9.5 weeks, I've already lost the 15%. I already lost the 36 pounds. My goal is 20% in 12 weeks. And the program doesn't end there, because then the next phase, the next 12 weeks, your transition phase. At that point, they slide in a regular meal. So
can't wait.
I sure can't.
Can't wait.
I want a steak. I want some brisket. I want to be able to hang with my man Ira and not look at his plate with envy, right? But it's going to be different because I'm going to have a lot more vegetables on my plate now. It's going to be different because my portion of that steak is going to be different.
So, like, if you go to a restaurant and it's, say, an 8-ounce filet, right off the jump that you cut it into, whether it's a half or a third, whatever the number is that you figure out, you're just not going to eat the whole thing, especially if it's a 14-ounce, right?
Exactly.
Or you're not going to go somewhere and eat the entire tomahawk cowboy or whatever ribeye kind of thing.
And I'm not going to have 4 glasses of soda. I'm going to have a couple of glasses of water and maybe a diet soda. I drank a lot of my calories.
What as you move forward, what about I know a lot of people are going to ask this question, what about the alcoholic beverage side of it? Because I know you have to bring those down a little bit because
you do, but you know what? I'm not, I guess I'm the wrong example because I don't drink a lot. I'm not a big drinker anyway. I'll occasionally have some vodka. That's probably my
They usually say clear is okay, but I don't know if that's actually the case for this diet.
I don't know.
But we have people coming up that can answer those questions.
Yeah, we sure do.
You can.
And we have people on the stream. If you're following us on the live stream, they're asking questions because they stream all over the country. They want to know: is this available in Tennessee? Is this available in Florida? Can I get this program
someday
here? Can I get this program there? There are some options. They have started to have relationships in other states, so we will have them come on and talk about that. But Ira, it's time for me to pull out.
Oh, here we go.
It's time for me to pull out another jersey.
All right. Hopefully everybody can
pull out another jersey.
Is everybody in line listening to the trivia question?
Right.
We are about to give away a signed Ben Gedeon football jersey.
Yes, we are going to give away a signed Ben Gedeon jersey. You might be able to put on the jersey and take a picture with Ben with the signed Ben Gedeon jersey, right? So basically, if you've been paying attention, you will have the answer to this question. Right? And this is for the signed Ben Gedeon jersey. You must be in the building for this. So I was talking about how I was around when Ben earned his Michigan scholarship offer. Before his junior year, I was there. He came up to the camp, big timer. He played all these positions in high school. He's a linebacker at Michigan, but he played quarterback. He played running back. He returned punts and kicks. He was a linebacker. He did all these things. And through doing all these things, he earned a nickname in high school. If you can come up and tell me what I said that nickname was, you will get that signed Ben Gedeon jersey. Come to the table right now. If you know what that nickname for Ben Gedeon was in high school, you will get the signed jersey. If you're paying attention, this is pretty easy. It was a name that'll stick out. It was a name that we have heard other athletes be called.
I will also say this, that in the last hour since we did the last jersey giveaway, the room has gotten a lot louder.
It has.
So we're going to see if someone will come up. We're going to see if anyone comes up with an answer. And we're going to see. Hold on. We got
an answer?
All right, we have an answer. What is your name?
Thomas.
What's your guess, Thomas?
Big Gedeon.
No, that wasn't it. Good try, though. Good try. No, that's not it either.
All right, you got to be listening. You have to have been listening closely.
You got to be listening closely. I might come up with another trivia question if no one gets this one. But Ben played a lot of positions in high school. Earned a reputation for athletic ability that was rare in a guy his size. They said this makes him like he's like a blank of nature. I'm just giving you all kind of hints and clues. He was the freak. That's right.
We have a winner.
We have a winner. A signed Ben Gedeon jersey has just been given away. That's right. Ben Gedeon in high school was nicknamed the Freak.
And in 1 hour, we will have a Desmond Howard jersey giveaway, and we will make sure it's broadcasted very loudly in the room and see who comes up with the answer. And my guess is the question will not be what was his original nickname.
No, it will not.
Because that's too easy. So we will have one more question coming up a little bit later on. It'll feel maybe like Sam felt when he did his Name That Tune contest. That's how hard these questions are going to be. No one else thought those questions were hard, but you did.
Yes. How are you? You follow me on Twitter? That's great. Yes, we did have a baby a year ago. Yeah, she does follow. Thank you.
He's right more than half the time. We're going to remind everybody while we're here as well as we have this fun conversation.
Yeah, but it is a blast down here at the M Den on campus, 303 South State Street.
It's like an art fair party.
Yeah, it is. Your opportunity to come on down to. This is my first time being in the M-Den since COVID, or second time. I was only in the M-Den once during COVID. So I told Scott Hurth as I walked in the door, it's like coming home, man. It's like, oh,
it is.
Right?
And this today might be the busiest M-Den day since COVID. So since pre-COVID, really, obviously, maybe a big basketball. It might have been a big basketball weekend, or maybe last football season. It's been the previous football season. It's with art fair in town is obviously very busy. With great crowd here. It's terrific. It's a lot of fun, and they're about to start the autograph signing. That's a celebrity picture right there, Sam. Is Desmond Howard taking a picture with Ben Gedeon and Dr. Amy Rothberg.
Yes,
So
she is the best. We'll have Amy.
She will be coming up a little bit, and we're gonna have more of the rewind conversation. And that's why we're here. We are here to celebrate. So I was having a few while you were on the air talking to Desmond, and while you were on the air talking to Ben Gedeon, I had a chance to talk to Dr. Rothberg. I talked to Kevin for a couple minutes because Kevin's here. We were talking about your great success and the great start that Kevin's off to with the program, and how proud everybody is, and also, of course, your wife as well, because she's doing a great job with the program as well.
Terrific job. I don't know that I would be doing as well, but it'd be harder to do as well as I'm doing without her. I don't cook. I don't. I mean, it would be all soups and shakes and no vegetables if it weren't for my wife. So. Yeah, she's been a rock through all of this, and she is doing really, really well too. You can as well as if you join the program, join rewind.com/Michigan for more information. Join rewind.com/Michigan. All right, so the autograph signing is getting underway. Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon signing autographs here at the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street. If you're in the area, if you got a chance to make it on down, the first 100 people are guaranteed to get autographs, so don't miss this opportunity. And don't miss the opportunity coming up at 2:30. At 2:30, we're going to be giving away that signed Desmond Howard jersey. All right? So we need to take a break. We're way past time for a break. We'll do that right now. Come back on the other side with more. A special edition of the Michigan Insider, live from the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street, for the autograph signing edition with our good friends Ben Gedeon and Desmond Howard. Back on the other side here on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket.
Clear.
Thank you. Smooth like butter. That's right.
Hey.
Okay. We've talked by an emailed a bajillion times over the years, but never, But it's good to put a face to the name and the messages.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I am willing. I am willing. I am willing. All right. Let's see. This is great. This is great. That's right. I can do kale chips. That is absolutely right. Who would have thought Sam Webb could do kale chips, man? That is cool. Thank you. That is great. No, I can't thank you enough. I'm getting more out of it than you, trust me. Absolutely. It has been fantastic. My wife would be here, but we don't have a sitter today. So, right. No, this is great. This is awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Our pleasure. It's I mean, I'm just a side coach helping along the way, but it's fun to watch him go through.
Yeah, no, this has been fantastic. And I keep telling people it's not a diet. This is 2 years. So it's like, we're talking about 12 weeks like it's gonna be over. Right. All right, yeah, I'll put it. I'm sorry about that. All right.
No, we're good. We're good. We'll just let music play.
That is awesome.
Back in 5, 4, 3,
Say that again. Am I on? Miz, turn mic 3 on.
5, 4, 3.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider, a special edition of the Michigan Insider. We are calling it the Rewind Edition. Here at the MDN on campus, 303 South State Street, right here in Ann Arbor. The autograph signing with Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon, as they are Rewind ambassadors. This program that was introduced, and I told the story when we had Desmond on. I mean, we have a lot of things that come across, and we don't endorse everything. And every opportunity that comes up, they ask us, "Do you want to do this?"
We have said no plenty of
And
times.
I have
We have
said,
definitely said no plenty of
I
times.
have said no in the past to a weight loss program.
Yeah,
Like,
I actually remember that.
You,
Right.
I said yes to a gym, and I was doing the gym religiously. Quit going to the gym during COVID, but about to start going back to that. But there was a diet program that was presented to me. It's like, oh, this just this doesn't sound right to me. For me, if it works for other people, this one doesn't sound like it's going to work for me. I mean, you don't work out. So when this one came across, and they talked about the rapid weight loss, I think the rapidity of the weight loss is what kind of stops you in your tracks. I mean, like, is that really realistic? And then you start to hear what it is. There's total meal replacement for the first 12 weeks. 2 weeks in, you're able to add non-starchy vegetables to the diet, so you can start having salads again. And there's activity involved, so you aren't just stagnant. They encourage 40 minutes of movement per day, and all the while, you are supported by teammates. So most often your teammates are people who joined Rewind around the same time as you. You're supported by your coaches, and your coaches aren't just support people. These are experts in the field, like nutritionists and doctors trained at the University of Michigan. You don't find this in other programs. And you have access. It's not like you see them the first day, you see them on the brochure, and you never interact with them. No, you're interacting with your coaches frequently. You have access to them via your app. And Kev, who I'm proud of, who joined Rewind because he heard about it here on the airwaves, lost 13 pounds in the first week.
I think the story that you told us, the best anecdote that I've heard so far, was the going to breakfast story.
Yeah. So Anna's here. So Anna saved me one day. Ted Efros, I saw Ted here today. Ted is joining Rewind. I went to Anna's house, not Anna's house,
her actual
not
house,
Anna's
right?
house,
But a restaurant, yes.
But Anna's house, the restaurant. Fitting that Anna would look at the menu from Anna's house for me. But she didn't do that ahead of time. I literally got to the restaurant, said, I don't know what I can eat here. Let me get on the app and send Anna a link to the Anna's house menu. She sent me back 5 options that I could eat that day. She said, you might have to tweak it here. You might have to, take that out. But this is what you can have.
And that was instant because
it was instant.
Yeah, because people would think, oh, I guess I can ask some questions, but if I sit down when you sat at a restaurant, you have to have a pretty quick response. You can't sit at a restaurant and wait for like 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Ideally, you would
do it
say,
ahead of time.
You would do it ahead of time and say, hey, you're going to a restaurant in a couple hours. You send the message. That gives
but actually, there's another. This is actually safer learned than the other lesson you learned. But this lesson is learned that, oh, I'm going to dinner. I have a business meeting at this lunch or this dinner. I'm going to be there tomorrow night. Let's send this menu today to somebody so I can go and kind of go through and pick out my options.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you don't get that with other programs. I mean, you guys a
lot of places they'll send you food in the mail and say eat this that's pretty much it.
You got access to your coaches, man. It's the real deal. Yeah. It is the absolute real deal. I can't support it. I can't endorse it enough. And it's important to understand that this is not just 12 weeks, right? It's not just 12 weeks because the second 12 weeks in the program, that's your transition phase. So now they slide one of your regular meals back in, but you are more knowledgeable about what that regular plate should look like. So yeah, you might have your steak, but now half your plate is going to be vegetables. And as I said to you, instead of having glass after glass after glass of soda or a Coke, or maybe you have a couple of glasses of water and 1 glass of diet soda. Or, if you're going to have wine, you got 1 glass of wine instead of 5 or something like that. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing is what you're taught. And they do it over a period of time that allows you to form the habit. So it's the first 12-week phase to kind of recondition your body, recondition it to how its new baseline. That was an important lesson that I learned from Dr. Rothberg, who said, don't expect your weight to go down like a slope. That's a misconception. And it's why people, when they say, oh, someone they gained all the weight back, it's just they didn't have the willpower. No, your body literally is trained to get back to its baseline weight. So you have to retrain your body to a new baseline. So she said a better way for weight loss is to have a step-like phased weight loss. So you go down, it's a little slope, then it plateaus. Then it's a little slope, then it plateaus. And so if you look at my chart, it looks like, if you go to the Rewind app, you can monitor your progress. It looks like a staircase.
Sam, over your left shoulder, I'm staring at that picture. It's a 3D Michigan Stadium thing, and you can see something. It's not exactly the same amount of rows, but it reminds me.
Can you see that stepwise graph I'm showing it to the people. It looks like a staircase.
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture of Michigan Stadium, which is obviously you can see in the 3D, there's stairs going down. Obviously, we know how many 90-something rows of stairs, but that's what I think of now. I'm thinking of walking down Chrysler or the Big House, walking down the stairs and seeing what your chart looks like.
Yeah.
And that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, man. So it's important that you get you acquire this new knowledge, right? About how it's supposed to go, what it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to be, and you're able to maintain it. And so instead of going through 12 weeks and they say, okay, you learn these things, now you should know how to do a regular meal. They say, no, hold up. Now let's slide one meal in and make sure these new habits truly are habits. Then we'll throw you in the deep end. And so I think.
Oh, so they teach you how to swim first.
Yeah,
that's important.
I think the format is just perfect. It's just and it, not to denigrate other programs, I'll just say this one is better. This one is better without disparaging others. This one is better. So if you tried a bunch of other things and none of them worked, try Rewind. Join rewind.com/Michigan. Or, hey, look, if you've just been on the fence and you haven't tried anything, let this be the first thing you try, and I promise you won't need to try anything else. Join rewind.com/Michigan. We have the program ambassadors, Ben Gedeon and Desmond Howard. They're signing autographs here at the M-Den. And the house is packed, but, there's still time. There's still time to make it on down and get in on the autograph session. The first 100 people are guaranteed autographs. I think we're probably coming up on 100 people here shortly. But clearly that means that there's going to be more time for you to still get down here while you can. And you just might not only get those autographs from Desmond and from Ben Gedeon, but you might also win this signed Desmond Howard jersey.
44 minutes.
We're going to be giving away a signed Desmond Howard jersey coming up at 2:30, but you have to be here. You have to be present. You have to be in the building at the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street to be exact. Still plenty of time for you to make it on down and even find a parking spot, even though the art fair is going on outside.
Yeah, I found it. There's a lot of lots that are available, not super expensive to park down here. You might find some street parking on the periphery as well, if you don't mind walking a couple extra blocks, which I generally don't mind doing. So I actually did that. Let me tell you, the sun now came out right when we got down here. I dropped Miz off for the first wave of gear. I walk over. He's setting up. I ran out to grab us some food. And while I'm on this walk, it starts to rain. It was nice out. I'm like, where'd the rain come from? But it rained quickly. It was gone. And now it looks like it's still sunny outside as I can look out the back window over here. It's a beautiful day to walk around Ann Arbor. It's a great place to stop in. It's fun to be in here right now. It feels like a game day crowd. Like you have the vibe of a game day crowd in here. You got a bunch of Michigan fans, a really busy store. And that's what happens on game. Not that you and I experience in store on game day. We're a little busy somewhere else, but this is what it's like on game day in here. And or the Friday night before a game. And it's a lot of fun to see this back and people excited. The fans coming through, seeing Desmond and Ben Gedeon getting their autographs.
Yeah.
A lot of 21 jerseys coming through here. And it's fun. It's fun to see the kids. We've got some kids coming through now too. So, I mean, they might remember Ben.
No, dude.
Dad tells them about Desmond. They remember Ben.
Yeah, he said, I could tell when someone calls me Magic, they go way back. I still have the newspaper, and you asked me this the other day, and I said I probably need to go check. said, man, you need to check to see how
faded it is.
How faded those newspaper clippings are. Like if you didn't preserve them, yeah, you might need to, if they're still, recognizable, you might want to start thinking about preserving them now. You're right. I need to go home and look in my closet in my mom's house and grab those old press clippings down, because that whole 91 year was so memorable, because you remember Desmond's Heisman year was the freshman year of the Fab Five.
Yep.
And so that entire fall was like, man, this is unbelievable. It was like, I mean, you got Desmond Howard winning the Heisman. You got the Fab Five announcing they're here. I remember the day Desmond won the Heisman, because the day Desmond won the Heisman was the day that Michigan played Duke at then Chrysler Arena, and that was the day they lost to Duke in overtime that day. But
it was the Mays jersey debut.
It was the Mays jersey debut at Chrysler Arena. Whatever day in December that was that Desmond won the Heisman, they played Duke that day, and it was one for the ages. I mean,
overtime, right?
It went to overtime. It went to overtime, and Chris Webber had fouled out, and so they had to play the overtime without C. Webb. But it was like the coming out party. It was like, we're here that day, Yeah, if Desmond say, I remember that. He said, I remember that. So it was bananas, man. Chrysler Arena, I don't know.
December 14th.
December 14th.
Number 1 Duke versus number 18 Michigan. I pulled it up.
It was a hell of a game. And they announced that was their arrival. They're here. The Fab Five.
I may just watch the game. I may watch part of the game now.
Yeah, it was big time, man. It was big time. So no, folks, still an opportunity for you to make it on down to the MDN on campus, 303 South State Street. Get your autograph signed by Desmond Howard, by Ben Gedeon. Lots of Michigan fans in the building, but still room for more. Look, let me tell you something. Scott Hurth is not going to turn away Michigan fans. He's not going to tell you don't come into the MDN, right? Come on into the MDN. Obviously, some great art fair deals as well. You can always catch a good sale.
Yeah, they have a 10 out front. Yep, they got a 10 out front. They got the sale room up here as well, and then a whole bunch of great gear. Absolutely.
Yeah, so come on down. You got to get ready for the fall. Like, who doesn't? Everyone gets ready with their new fall Michigan ensemble, right? So you got to do that. You got to get your fall Michigan gear. Come on down to the MDN and get that done. 303 South State Street right here in Ann Arbor.
See, now you got me at this 91 Michigan Duke game. Look at how young Jim Nance was.
Right?
Oh, my goodness. That was a long time ago.
Billy Packer.
That was my goodness, that was a long time ago. I remember that game because the Mays uniform debut and a few other reasons. And obviously they went to go meet him again many months later in Minneapolis. That game I was at. That was Michigan was leading at the half of that one.
Yeah, they were.
But not nearly as close at the end, unfortunately, in that one.
Yep. So look, here's what we need to do, because we need to squeeze in some more guests. We still have Scott Hurth to talk to from the MDN. We got Dr. Amy Rothberg to get on the air as well. And we still have the Desmond Howard giveaway, the signed jersey, number 21, Howard on the back, signature on the jersey. Now,
when you claim it, you have to strike the pose.
So that's a requirement.
I think we're going to make people strike the pose when they claim the jersey.
They actually have a statue, a jersey mannequin, a replica over at Schembechler Hall now of Desmond with the pose.
There you go.
Yeah, man. So no, it's an iconic
we're gonna make someone strike the pose to take that. If they want the jersey, that they answer the question and strike the pose. We're not making it easy here.
Absolutely. All right. So do we have a?
Yeah, we'll take a break here. Yeah, we have 2 more to get in between now and whenever, so we'll take one here.
Yeah, let's get another break. We'll get another guest on. We have more for you live from the MDN on campus, 303 South State Street, the Rewind event, the autograph signing event with Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon. Come on down, get your autograph signed, take advantage of these great deals at the MDN as well. And if you are a person that has a weight issue, a weight-related health concern, now the focus for Rewind right now is on reversing this type 2 diabetes trend that we see in the community. You can put that disease in remission. It can be put down, put back, beat back. You can change your pre-diabetic condition as well. While that is the focus of this campaign, you need to know that any weight-related health concern, health issue you have can be addressed by going through Rewind. For me, it was sleep apnea, and I just need to lose some weight. Going through the initial tests, to get into Rewind, I found I had a fatty liver condition. My wife has high blood pressure and sleep apnea. The fatty liver condition, you just like type 2 diabetes, you can put that into total remission with Rewind. Hallelujah, right? My wife's high blood pressure. She was on 4 blood pressure medications. She's now down to 2 in just 9.5 weeks. Several stories like that. This program can make a difference for you if you have a weight-related health concern. Join rewind.com/Michigan. We'll get back into it on the other side here on the Michigan Insider, live on location at the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street. Come on down, get your autograph signed. We'll see you on the other side here on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket.
Do you want the?
So either Scott or Amy.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's great. Everything's great. Okay. There you go. Get some of this water in me. Oh, and I came prepared. See, I got a lesson. This is one of my lessons. Okay. Come up with a. Scott, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great,
How
Sam.
does it? All right. Yeah, no, it's gonna be good.
It's good
Thank
to see
you.
man.
Thank you. Oh, this is cool, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on
Ben,
the
you hear me?
street. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, how long do we got?
You have got minute 30.
Minute 30?
One break left. All right.
You want me to throw
So-
some more PSAs in? Got about 90.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we're good.
Solid.
So we'll talk NIL.
Yeah.
And some of the, I don't know if you have any dates for any of your signing events.
So I don't have. I can hint at a few things,
Okay.
but I can't say any. Oh, I can say one thing for sure. We're doing a big gigantic block party on August 7th. That
Okay.
I can tell the truth early.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we can talk NIL.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, that's great.
No,
Right.
man, it feels like I said when I walked through the door, it's like, coming home.
It's like
You know?
oxygen, you
Right?
know?
Yeah,
After
it's like, man.
18 months of oh my
Yeah.
god, and now there's oxygen again. And
Right.
those two guys and this great program you're representing, holy smokes!
Yeah, man. People came out.
Yeah,
People came out.
The damn rain stopped. It's like, oh my god! Yesterday it was like, no, we're looking for Noah.
Right. Right?
Rained all day.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Remember that Notre Dame game 2 years
I
ago?
do.
That
I do.
literally they predicted it was going to rain 100% of the day, and it rained 100% of the day. It's like I watch the weather all the time because it matters. And
Right?
it's like usually, no, they were right.
You know, I think
rained
people,
all damn
but
day.
you know what?
Back in 30.
Gotcha.
30
I
seconds.
think people were looking for something to come out to.
Oh, there is no question. There's
You
some
know?
of that. Yep.
I think, man. I mean, you just want to feel like normal
There.
as much as you can.
We did the Isaiah Livers and the tall center. I'm spacing his name right now. The local kid.
Local kid.
From
Oh,
Onstead.
Big
Big Country.
Davis. Austin
Big
Davis.
Country.
Yep.
Yeah. We did that right the day the governor announced the masks didn't have to be worn anymore. And
We're
people
back
were just
in
so happy.
5,
So
Okay.
happy to be out.
3.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com, live on location at the M-Den on State Street, 303 South State Street for the Rewind event. You've listened to us for 12 weeks talk about this innovative weight loss program. It is not a diet. It is a program that is truly unique. And to me, I think it's uniquely effective. Already for me, 9.5 weeks, 36 pounds. And that is like, that's what people do. One person who joined Rewind from listening on the air, Kevin, remember, who was out here earlier today, he lost 13 pounds his first week in the program. This is the kind of success that you can have if you stick to it. You know what encouraged me there were a few factors that led me to it. It was looking around and seeing the doctor support and nutritionist support, trained professionals from the University of Michigan. It was seeing that, hey, they encourage not only proper diet, but also working out. And then to see names like Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon and Jake Butt attached to it, that put me over the top and made me join the program, and it's making others join as well. Ben and Desmond are out here signing autographs at the M-Den on State Street. And the man that makes it all go at the M-Den, this is the guy. Like, you want to know the guy? You want to see the wizard? It's Scott Hurst. Scott, how you doing?
Sam, I am doing great. I'm not sure I can live up to what you were just talking about there, but it's great to see you. It's great to see all these folks for the art fair and for this great event, and thank the Rewind folks for making it happen.
So tell me about the last 18 months. How good does this feel? I admit I've only been to the M-Den once since COVID. So this is my second time since COVID, and it wasn't like this. It wasn't the hustle and bustle like this.
No, I can just say this. First of all, we thank everybody for the great support that we have had during these 18 months, but it's been brutal. Just imagine what anybody feels when there was no real football season.
Right.
And obviously, football matters to us.
Right.
And to not have many students on campus and to not have football in person, at least with fans, it's been a brutal stretch. But it's been brutal for a lot of folks. And it is just so great to have the world back to normal, the art fair with all those folks, and a great event like this today. And this should be one of the very first steps to true normal again. We should be looking from here. We'll talk in a minute about some other great events we're going to have. Students coming back, and then it's only 6 or 7 weeks from today that we're playing football again in the big house, and that is great. It's like oxygen.
Oh no! I got all kinds of descriptions. The Maize and Blue Mecca.
Yep.
You know, I've called the M-Den a lot of things, man. Yeah. And this is the place. Like, if you love Michigan, you just walk in and you automatically get excited when you step across the threshold here in any of the stores, but definitely the one right here, 303 South State Street. We have Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon signing autographs. And you guys have been doing the autograph signing thing for years. But after the guys leave school, you've been doing the autograph signings. Now, I mean, does this open the door? Does NIL open the door for you to have signing events with current student athletes?
It does. It does. You know, it's a little bit of the wild, wild west with this new NIL rules and rulings and law. I guess it's a law also. But we announced something yesterday, and we're on the threshold of announcing a bunch of other events with current student athletes. So yes, we are going to have autograph signings with current student athletes. I'd say one could be as soon as maybe a week from now.
Okay.
We're going to have a big event down here on August 7th. We're going to call it the block party, kind of a welcome back to the fans and everything, a big day-long event. And we're going to have some autograph signings for that day as well. So we're going to have current student athletes able to do, instead of us being their first paycheck after college, we can be their one of their first paychecks while they're even in college.
Yeah, man. And this is a great opportunity for them, a great opportunity for you, a great opportunity for the fans.
Right. Fans.
I mean, because before you had to maybe get lucky waiting outside of the football stadium, or if they had a fan day, those are the only times you could get some of these autographs.
There's no question about it. We want to make sure that the world knows that the M-Den wants to be a part and playing in the NIL arena as the rules change daily. You know, as Michigan's a partner, we're going to make sure that we followed every last rule to the letter. But we also want to make sure that these student athletes can get in here and can start reaping the rewards of NIL. And that should be great for all our customers as well. So I'd like to think we're going to get the gymnastics team out here. After all, they won a national championship, and this can be all the sports.
Listen, I talked to Bev yesterday.
Yep.
Bev would be here right now if she had already had an event scheduled.
Right.
And she was like, man, if it was any other day, I would be at the M-Den with you guys. So I said, Bev, look, we'll be at the M-Den other times.
Right.
We will get it done.
Right. And so we will have lots of folks, including that team, which did such a fantastic job this past season. And then yesterday we just announced the jerseys. So,
buddy.
yeah. And so all of those are new ways that fans can interact with these players, and that we can bring new products and new events, shall we say, here to the M-Den.
Yeah, this is a fantastic event. Still some time. I mean, you might get lucky. It's we're coming up on the end of it, but if you're in the neighborhood, come on down. You might be able to get your autograph signed by Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon. And by the way,
Sam,
at 2:30,
there's no limit on how many autographs Sam will sign. We have a Sharpie for him. There's no limit on Sam Webb's autograph sign.
Right.
Well, you know what we do have? We do have this signed Desmond Howard jersey still available that we're going to be giving away at 2:30. And all you're going to have to listen to or give an answer to some trivia based on some things that we've said during the broadcast. So not going to give you any hints about what that is, but we'll bring it up. If you're paying attention, you'll be able to answer the question. So now Desmond is great. I mean, if you follow him on Twitter, you see that he takes health and wellness so seriously, and to have him sit down here talking with us, he was talking about how he carries his own popcorn. So he pops his own popcorn, and then instead of butter, he uses olive oil. He says same consistency, gives you some of that kind of twist and taste.
Oh yeah,
without all the calories and fat.
Well, look at the guy. Does he look ripped or what? So whatever he's doing is working.
All right, so let's promote one more time, or make people aware of at least the events that you can talk about, so they can put it on their radar. If they can't make it down to this M-Den event, they can maybe make it to the next one.
So this NIL law is 2 weeks old or something like that. So we've been working in those 2 weeks on a lot of things. So I can't say specific players for specific times, but just suffice it to say, it's going to be current student athletes. The only thing I can say for sure is an August 7th date. There is going to be a big event down here, basically blocking the whole street, and like the Nike launch.
Okay.
And there's going to be a lot going on, and there will be autograph signings there. And I would just say, watch mden.com or our Twitter feed, and you will see, I would guess, roughly every other week, autograph events with current student athletes. And that could be football players, basketball players, and like the gymnastics team, and all of the sports across the range of student athletes.
That is
so roughly every other week.
All right, so I got to ask you an apparel question. Like, what's the All right, we're back now. All right. A little technical difficulty, but we're back. All right, so I got to ask you, what's the hottest item in the store? What do you anticipate being the hottest item in the store?
Right. So remember, we've got a fairly sizable challenge with COVID for the supply chain. So everything's going to be a little bit late. But from what I have seen, there is some really great Nike sideline stuff coming for this fall.
Okay.
It's sometime in the next 2 weeks to 2 to 3 weeks, the Nike sideline stuff. And I don't mean just what the coach would wear, but a hood and a pant set, a tracksuit set. Those are the things that I think are going to be the hottest thing for this fall.
So is there a way, are you showing them on your site yet, or you got to wait?
You got to wait till about at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
Is what it looks like to me. So we there's some times where we tease folks, but we don't want to if we don't want to show it out there, people can't order it usually. So
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's
Scott,
gonna be great.
Scott, it's great to be back home, man.
Sam, I really appreciate that you think of it that way, and you guys are always welcome, and we really appreciate you guys being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Scott Hurth,
yeah.
this is the
Thanks,
guy.
guys.
This is the wizard. When you talk about M-Den, he's the guy that makes it go here at the M-Den. Again, special event here, autograph signing event with Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon. It's been going strong. The wave of fans has been just nonstop. So I'd like to tell you, there's still a shot. There's still a chance, but man, the line's pretty long. Still encourage you to come down and take advantage of the deals. Still encourage you to come on down and maybe win this signed jersey from Desmond Howard at 2:30. But joining me now, to me, she's the star of the show. She's the star of the show. This is the autograph that I want. Dr. Amy Rothberg. She is absolutely awesome. And when you talk about they call her the queen bee of rewind. I think it is a very apt description because she meets you where you are. So some people just need the pat on the back. They need the encouragement. Others, like, someone pointing to himself right now, might need a little nudge, a little, hey, I told you you better drink your water. I'll save you, but if you don't want to be in this situation again, you need to drink your water, Sam. That's the kind of encouragement that some of us need. But that's the point to me of Rewind. It does such a great job of meeting every individual where they are. You may have tried other weight loss options and they weren't successful. This one, I think, can meet whatever that issue was. Maybe you didn't have the level of support. Maybe you didn't have the kind of oversight and coaching that you needed. Maybe they didn't identify a medical issue that you had. Rewind does all of those things. And it's not like they boot you out after 12 weeks and say, okay, you learned everything you need to learn, have at it. No, there's another 12-week phase, the transition phase, where now they are gradually moving you back into what your new norm is as far as diet and exercise are concerned. With one meal, then we'll see if you know what that one meal is supposed to look like. And then after 6 months, guess what? You can try it with support from your teammates, your doctors, your coaches. It is truly fantastic. And Amy Rothberg makes it all go. Amy, how you doing?
Great, Sam. Great to be with you again.
It's great to be with you as well. And so I started out with a goal of 20% weight loss, because the range that you offer or that you say is possible with Rewind in the first 12 weeks is 15 to 25%. I've passed the 15% threshold. My goal was 20%. I have a shot at it. But even if I fall short of the 12-week span, I think it's important to note to people that the program doesn't end at 12 weeks. You're really still at the beginning.
You are just at the initial phase. You have another, what is that, 18 months if I do the math?
You're right.
I can count to 2 years. But more to the point, you may reach that threshold of 15, 20%, but this is not a sprint.
Right.
It is a marathon, right? And we want to walk along, run along with you until those 2 years. So even after the first 12 weeks, people continue to lose weight until about 6 months, where then we really want to focus on prevention of weight regain.
So I probably described the phases more crudely because I'm just talking about it from a consumer standpoint, from a patient standpoint, a member standpoint, but you being the doctor, being the clinician here, can you sort of break down the phases of Rewind for the people?
Sure will. So the first phase is aggressive caloric restriction, in which we do, as you said, give meal replacements. So in general, it's about 5 meal replacements per day. And people say, whoa, I can't do that. Of course you can do that. You can do anything for 12 weeks. But it's a relief for most people because we take all the guesswork out.
Yep.
You're not hungry. And you don't have to prepare any meals. You just start shaking it up, literally. After that, we gradually transition you back to regular food. As you said, you start with one meal, see how you do. You don't go over the top with hamburger and fries. And then after those 12 weeks, we sort of try to want to just consolidate that new lower weight loss that you got to, work really hard so that you don't gain weight. And we talk to you about the strategies you're going to need to employ for lifelong, long-term weight maintenance.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying it's not a diet. It shows you how to have a proper diet. These are different things, and I think that people get caught in the trappings of a diet because eventually you come off of that.
Yeah.
This is sort of adjusting what normal is for you so you can maintain it for the duration.
It's a lifelong lifestyle intervention.
Yeah, it truly. And so you get to learn a lot of lessons, but maybe the ones that are most visible to me you can't exercise your way to alone. exercise your way to, proper health and wellness.
Well, I say that all the time. You can't chase away your calories. If you look at really what you burn, don't trust your treadmill to tell you what you're burning. It's very little. So it's much easier just to reduce calories. Exercise is important for well-being and to hold on to your muscle mass, but you don't lose weight by exercise alone. So you do, but they are strongly integrated behaviors, right?
Right. And so the other thing that I want you to explain, Amy, because I learned this from you, it's like, I've sort of hit a little plateau. I'm not losing weight quite as fast. And you explained to me, don't look at your weight loss track like a slope. Look at it like a staircase. It should look like a staircase. And now it makes sense, but explain why it should look like a staircase.
So you want it to look like a stairway. You don't want to be an outlier with weight loss. So there are natural insets of plateaus or where the weight just slows down. And that is your body working to consolidate that new lower settling point. So you should expect that to happen. You want that to happen. That's just natural physiology. So what we want to prevent is just this acceleration all the time going down, because with that usually is the rebound. And we're all about no rebound.
Right.
Unless they're in the court with Desmond Howard. I hope I can get a rebound against him.
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those things where when you think about all the things that people have tried, and you hear people talk about having that rebound and the weight gain coming back, and folks criticize it, saying it's all about they have bad will, they don't have willpower. And you made it very clear that that's not even all. I was about to say it's not always the case. Most of the time it isn't the case. Your body's chemistry wants that original weight back.
Right. The body defends its higher weight, and it isn't about will or volition. If people could will it away, they would have willed it away a long time ago. So there's nothing gimmicky or fad about this. We just try to give everybody a helping hand, a hand up, 2 hands up, to help them navigate probably one of the more important challenges of their life. And but we're very, very disciplined and structured about how we go about that.
All right, so you've been an expert in your field for years. This isn't just an overnight thing for you, clearly. But the delivery of the message, the delivery mechanism of Rewind, I tell people all the time, this is different than any other program they've ever seen or heard about.
Well, I would hope so. I think what we do makes sense. It's proven, it's proven scientifically. It's not just one commercial program where they're interested in taking your money and you get to lose a little bit weight up front, but don't follow you. We are about the long-term game.
Yeah, and so we've been getting questions. I know I asked you this before, but we have a fresh slate of listeners on YouTube. They're following us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook now. And we've gotten several questions asking us, guys, is this only available in Michigan? Can I get this in Tennessee? Can I get this in Florida? Can we get this in California? All these questions have come through today. So, what can you say to the people who aren't in Michigan who are interested in Rewind?
Just a little bit of patience. We're right now just in Michigan, but that's exactly our idea. That is our goal, to capture all of you who live outside of Michigan, but you still have to be Michigan fans.
Wait, look, I've been saying. So there's a listener. I don't know if he's watching us right now, but Roger in Flint is a Michigan State fan, and I told him Rewind won't hold that against him. Like, just because you're a Sparty doesn't mean that you can't be a Rewind member. We might rag on you a little bit, but you can still be a member of the family because it is truly, truly, truly a life-changing experience to be a part of Rewind. You have access to experts like Amy and Anna, and that's the other thing. So a lot of these programs, you might see an expert be the front, but the access to that kind of expertise on a regular basis is not possible in those programs. In Rewind, it is.
I think it is. Rewind is not constrained by the normal constraints that we have just operating at a local clinic, for example. So They've built this incredible dynamic web platform where you get lots of education and activities to do. You have a whole community of support, and then you have the one-on-one with me and all the just incredible coaches.
Yeah, so one of the things I keep talking about is you talk about support. One of the things I keep talking about is the recipe support that you get from Rewind team members. So I learned about the Boston Cooler. I learned about the Orange Sickle. From Desmond Howard today, I learned a new popcorn trick. So Desmond said he brings his own popcorn with him. He pops his own popcorn, with a popper, not in the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said instead of butter, he uses olive oil. He drizzles olive oil on his popcorn. He doesn't drench it, but he gets that same sort of consistency, gets that that twinge that you like to get from butter, and it really works for him. Before this, I used Molly McButter based on my coaches, but they said, "Hey, Molly McButter, Sam," and I said, "Molly, I have that. I've been using that, but I'm going to try the olive oil thing now." This is one of the great benefits of Rewind is you have access to what other people are doing to be successful.
Let's not forget about Walden Farms, huh?
Walden Farms. I had no idea what Walden Farms was until Rewind. So you can have no calorie salad dressing? This actually exists? I love the vinaigrette. Their raspberry vinaigrette, so Walden Farms raspberry vinaigrette is some of the best vinaigrette I've ever had. So
right, people just don't have the opportunity to have that education, advice and counseling, and this is what Rewind offers.
Yeah.
So that real personal touch tailored to you, right?
Yep. Folks, again, this can work. If you tried other things and those other things didn't work, or you just been on the fence and you've never tried anything, this will work for you if you follow the program, if you heed the advice, if you don't get too caught up in setbacks. Don't let setbacks set you back forever. There's another thing that Rewind really stresses. You aren't going to be perfect every step of the way. I know I made huge mistakes out the gate. Huge mistakes out the gate. And they got corrected, though. And I got right back on course. And that was another great lesson, I think, from you guys.
Yeah, corrective action. You changed the course a little bit. Right. We're not here to judge or punish people. We just want to help them achieve their, weight and health goals. So, you get off track, big deal. We'll get you back on track. That's the most important thing people need to learn. It's not all or none. It is, little steps along the way, although they're big steps early on.
Yeah, and be sure to drink water, folks. Just a little word of advice. Drink your water. JoinRewind.com/Michigan. Again, JoinRewind.com/Michigan for more information on Rewind. Again, if you've been on the fence, you're looking for something to try, I guarantee you, if you follow this program, it will work. And I learned about some weight loss, some health concerns I didn't even know I had, and it was through screening for Rewind. It's just all encompassing. You get the support, you get the medical expertise, you get the encouragement, you get the results.
So Sam, let's talk about that a little bit. So you had sleep apnea. We knew about that.
Mm-hmm.
How are you sleeping?
So I am sleeping so well. I think it's twofold. The weight coming off is a huge part of it, but I have gotten in the activity more consistently as well through Rewind, because you're tracking everything. You're tracking what you eat on a daily basis. You're tracking whether or not you get the exercise, and so there's an accountability. The scale isn't your only accountability. Your coaches aren't your only accountability. Your ledger is too. So you can look at it and see, well, I didn't exercise yesterday or the day before. Let me make sure I get it. So I find myself when I lay down at night not taking 45 minutes to go to sleep like I was before. And I'm up late at night anyway and early in the morning. So I need to get to sleep quickly. And I found that since I started Rewind, I get to sleep a lot quicker at night.
I'm so glad to hear that. But I think there is a true physiologic reason for that. And I think it is due to both the caloric restriction and then, the subsequent weight loss. But getting back to your point, right, weight is just one single metric. It's not the only metric by which individuals should measure their success. They should measure their success about the insight they're getting and all the things that they can be doing that they weren't able to do before. I mean, I take care of a woman who hadn't crossed her legs in over 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And now can cross her legs and tie her own shoes. And that may seem trivial to some of you out there, but it wasn't to her.
Oh, no. I can identify with like, it got a little difficult to cross your leg and tie your shoe like you normally do. That did get a little difficult for me. And that maybe was one of the triggers, like you need to do something. I mean, I gained like 30 pounds during COVID, 25 or 30 during COVID. It's like, I need to get back on track. I need something to get me back on track. And this was it. And that was one of the first things that I noticed. It's like, man, much easier to tie your shoe. The bigger thing, much easier to move around at these events that I have to cover. Huge deal for me there. So you can see so many examples now of the difference. For me, now I haven't seen my numbers, but I know through the screening, and this is how I learned about it, I had a fatty liver condition. I didn't know that, but you said that it's the same thing as with type 2 diabetes. Weight loss affects that. What we have measured, though, is Donis was on what, 4 blood pressure medications? You took her off of, my wife, you took her off of 2 of them through her weight loss with Rewind.
Right. And I don't think Donis ever thought that was going to be possible. The other thing Donna shared with me is that she now goes up the stairs, and whereas she used to feel totally winded when she got up there, she apparently could have a breathy conversation with you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but hey, you take the good with the bad. But no, she has been spectacular through this, because I think for her it was always, I have a lot of knowledge of what I should be doing, but saying it and doing it are 2 different things. And I think you married the 2 with Rewind. I think there was some reinforcement of some of the things, and then there were some things that she learned too. Like, I don't think she knew about zucchini rice. I don't think she knew about eggplant pasta. Okay, so there are definitely some things that she took from it, but the accountability, the results, the monitoring and being able to ask questions of coaches on a consistent basis, I think all of those things have been super valuable for her. So that's why when I say I love Amy, she's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Anyone else, she has a problem with it, but with you, she's fine, because she loves you too. Everyone with Rewind does, because it is a life-changing program. And if you were looking for something to make a difference for you in your weight loss journey, Rewind, I promise you, will be that thing for you if you follow and stick to the program. Join rewind.com/Michigan. Again, join rewind.com/Michigan. Well, Amy, hey, look at Dave Avloff. Amy, thanks a lot for spending it. Thanks for all that you do. This is big to have you here, but it's bigger for me what you've done for us in our lives and what you do continue to do for us in our lives. I'm sure I speak for everyone with Rewind when I say that. So thank you.
Sam, my pleasure.
Thank you. That's Dr. Amy Rothberg, the Queen Bee with Rewind. And that, I got to tell you, folks, life changer, superstar. That's the autograph that I got to get. All right. So anyway, in keeping with Rewind, look what I brought with me, Miz. See what I brought with me? Because I got to go get a Rewind bar.
Yep.
But, I don't have a Rewind bar. So I got a decent substitute to get it in. Now, so I have Anna with me. She said, Sam, you need to get the Rewind bars, because I'm going to be traveling, right? Haven't got the Rewind bars yet. I knew I was going to be out and about, though, and I couldn't carry a shaker cup around. So I went to the store, and I found a the lowest calorie one on the shelf, decent carbs. And I look at things. How much sugar does it have? 1 gram of sugar, the things that I'm paying attention to now, and that I wasn't paying attention to before, and coming prepared, because it would have been very easy to stop at one of these places out on the street. It
Out
is
in the
art fair.
Yep.
Out at art fair, there are all kind of food locations. I could have stopped right there and got something to eat. Instead, I brought a bar with me. How about that?
There you go, Sam. Being prepared. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's part of the journey is how do you be prepared so that when you're at the art fair,
Right?
you're not stuck with just the choices at the art fair.
Right, but that's one of the key lessons that you learn. Preparation is also half the battle. Now, you make it easy. And when I say the first 12 weeks with soups and shakes are easy, don't take that to mean that there isn't a mental challenge there. There is a mental challenge for me in the first couple of weeks. It hasn't been that as challenging mentally past that. But what I mean by saying that it's a challenge, when you travel a lot, it's hard to find those good options unless you plan ahead. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I've taken from Rewind so far.
Yeah, I mean, so much of it is thinking ahead and really being able to think about, okay, do I know where I'm going to go? Do I know if the menu is available? And I could send it to my Rewind coach to look ahead of time. So, I think a lot of the learning process is just that, what you said, Sam, planning, thinking ahead and having, being able to come up with the plan A and the plan B and the plan C.
Yeah, so it continues to be the case that we have all these listeners who are like, man, can I get this here? Can I get this there? Soon they will be branching out across the country. But for those who are in state, and this is getting back to, Roger and Flint, who I continue to tell you can do this up in Flint.
I'm waiting for a call, Roger.
You can do this in Flint, Roger. You don't have to be in Ann Arbor to do it. You can get the shakes up there in Flint. It can happen for you. So if you're in this state, you can have access to Rewind, right?
Absolutely. As long as you're within the state of Michigan for now, as Dr. Rothberg was saying, we will expand, but just a little bit of patience there. But for now, if you are in the state of Michigan, so even Roger and Flint, I'm waiting for you.
Right. I'm gonna make that call happen myself. If I gotta go to Flint and sit with Roger and have him call you. But like Kevin did, I want to bring Kevin up because his story is such a success story for Rewind. And he was listening to Jake on the air, Jake Budd on the air, one of the Rewind ambassadors, and it moved him to action. And man, he has had outstanding results so far through Rewind.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, it was actually after Jake Butt was on. We looked at the timestamp. It was probably like a minute after that interview that Kevin had contacted us, which it was. I mean, so fantastic, just getting the word out and people like Kevin joining and hearing about it. And he really has done so well in the program. I mean, this is, I think, his second week now.
Right.
But, he's powering through. He's doing the shakes. He got to meet some of his teammates today and get some ideas of what are you mixing with your shake? And, I didn't realize I could mix that with my shake. And so, I mean, just the camaraderie that can come with a program like this and the community support, in addition to everything he's done on his own.
Right. And so that community support, we've talked a lot about that, but you being a coach, Anna, if you could just highlight how, the routine goes for a member and the interaction with the coach, some of the ways in which members utilize coaches, if you can highlight that for the listeners.
Absolutely. I mean, we encourage members to contact us really for anything. Like if you're going to a birthday party, let us know. Let's talk about it. Do you know what's going to be at the birthday party? What are you bringing to the birthday party? Are you eating anything before the birthday party? Like, let's talk this out. So there's a lot of these special occasions where we can really help coach you through and guide you in terms of how are you going to handle it. But also, I mean, you've mentioned a lot the restaurant situation as well. You can send us menus. We can look over the choices that might be more calorie appropriate. The other thing too, though, Sam, is also kind of going through relationship with food. What is that relationship like?
Yeah.
And thinking about, what do you use food for? Is it for boredom? Is it for anxiety, stress, depression, celebration, right?
Yeah.
We use food for so many things, and kind of diving into that relationship, because that relationship is a deep relationship.
I'm laughing because all the conversations we had today about the things that I learned, and that was one that I forgot about.
Yeah.
And you guys, one of the questions on the questionnaire is, are you an emotional eater? I was like, no, I'm not an emotional eater.
That's not me.
I might eat a little excessively. I really drink too much soda, but beyond that, I don't, eat when I'm down or anything like that. And the story, we bid on this house. We lost the house, and it was, I mean, you talk about being wrecked. I was really emotional about it. And so, I mean, we had the salad, and ordinarily we would pick through it, make sure the croutons weren't on it. We would have said, don't put the cheese on it. There are croutons and cheese on this salad, and we just plowed through that salad because we were so like, oh man, I can't believe we didn't get this house.
Yeah.
And that was when it dawned on me. It's like, maybe I am a little bit of an emotional eater. Maybe I need to process that a little bit. And you guys, so when we talk about the kind of a holistic approach, there's a physiology and then there's a mental aspect to it as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I like I was mentioning before, that relationship with food, I think that is something really important to explore, that it's the why.
Yeah.
I almost, when people tell me, oh, I cheated or I ate this other thing that was off plan, in a way, I don't actually care that much what it is you ate. I want to know why.
Why you ate it.
Yeah.
That's huge. But see, this is what makes Rewind different. So like I said, if you've tried other things and they didn't work, or if you've never tried anything and you're looking for something, this is that something. Rewind will work for you. I'm a walking, talking, living testimony to it. So hopefully we've encouraged you a lot. You are interested. If you just want more information, join rewind.com/Michigan. Again, joinrewind.com/Michigan is the website. Get more information that way. I'm sure if you reach out often, it's Anna.
It's usually me.
Anna is the one that you talk to. So you'll be hearing from Anna directly. And you're terrific. I know I've said it before. You are awesome. All of Rewind is awesome. So been truly a life changer already for us. And we're only 9.5 weeks in. So looking forward to everything that's to come from here. Thanks a lot, Anna.
Of course, Sam. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. So, folks, it is that time for the giveaway. It is that time for the Desmond Howard giveaway, the signed Desmond Howard jersey.
The people in the back of the room listening, is everybody listening to the trivia question?
All right, this is the
time for a signed Desmond Howard jersey. We are giving this away right now if you can answer the trivia question.
All right, if you've been paying attention, this should be really easy for you to get. So we know that Desmond, when he travels prepared. He carries food with him. He carries his own trail mix that he makes himself. He carries his own popcorn that he pops in his popcorn popper. He doesn't even stick it in a microwave. He pops his own damn popcorn in the popper. But he doesn't drizzle butter on it. What does Desmond drizzle on his popcorn? Did Jeff get it? What did he say? What is Desmond? That is right. Desmond Howard drizzles olive oil on his popcorn. That is right. And I'm going to try it now. I'm going to try that.
Here's what I'd like to offer. Rewind has been a very important part of my life, and I want to help it out. And if it's appropriate,
okay, can
we auction this off with all the proceeds going to Rewind?
We can do that now. So what do we want to do? What do we want to do to our listening audience?
I think what we need to do is start the auction on Monday. Is what we need to do, so we can do it
Yeah.
properly, because there are
Yeah.
rules that radio rules we have to follow and whatnot. But that is a generous
That's
donation.
a generous donation.
And
the proceeds going to Rewind. So if you missed the signed Desmond Howard jersey, we're going to do an auction on air on Monday, and that will open it up to all the people listening, all the people watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. You will have an opportunity for the signed Desmond Howard jersey as well, courtesy of our guy Jeff. I mean, look, let's hear about your Rewind journey real quick.
But before we get to that, I want to go back to the jersey. I'm going to open the bidding at $100.
Okay.
Okay. And just give me a receipt when you get this thing sold.
I got you. We're going to make that happen. So, again, this has been a journey, not just for me, not just for, Kevin, but Jeff Leapster. You kind of represent a different sort of Rewind member. What do I mean by that? The rest of us are, we aren't former student athletes. You're a former student athlete at the University of Michigan, right?
Right.
And so, you found yourself post-career, post-athletic career, loving food always, but, it doesn't burn off as easy once once you hit a certain point, right? So you found yourself needing to do something different, and you've been a Rewind disciple for a while now. So tell people about your journey.
Well, I first met Peter and and his team at Rewind, and Coach Anna and Dr. Amy when I was looking at this as an opportunity for the teammate assistance program of the Football Alumni of Michigan. It's a committee I'm on. I used to be on the board at the, and when I met them, I said, boy, this sounds great. I can't wait to get our members involved. But you know what? I could really use this. I've been battling with, being overweight for a long time, and nothing's really worked. And so that night I made the commitment, and I started to talk to the Rewind people. And bottom line is I've lost 20% of my body weight. I've had 4 heart surgeries, and I feel healthier than I felt since before the first one. And my A1C, which is a key diabetes indicator, is significantly down. Bottom line is, but most importantly to me, because I still play softball, is I can now get around my gut and hit a line drive down the left field line.
Look at that. But you know what? Those victories that might seem small are huge, right? I mean, it's like,
Right.
look at what I can do now that I know I couldn't do before. That's a big deal, man. And it's a big deal also that, student athletes, athletes just period. Student athletes, pro athletes are well-conditioned people. There's a regimen to being in that kind of condition, though. And often when they get away from that sport, the loss of that regimen loses that condition as well. So how do they find their way back to being in shape? And that's what introducing this program to former student athletes, that's an issue that this really addresses.
Yeah, and so many people think it's a diet, and it is not a diet.
It is not a diet,
It
right?
is habits that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, and hopefully you will as well, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely.
That make it easy to get back on track when you do fall off the wagon, so to speak. And I have several times since I transitioned back to real food, and supervising my own diet, been able to veer, but then revert. And I'm happy to say that I finished the program or transitioned in February, and I've stayed within 2 to 5 pounds of that weight since then, and that's where I am right now, a couple pounds over that my target weight, and I don't see it ever changing.
Yeah, that is awesome. And you like food, right?
I love food. I love to cook. I love to barbecue. I love to eat. I go out a lot for business and pleasure, and and when I veer a little bit, like the next day I've got my Rewind coach if I need her. Anna, by the way, she's fantastic.
She is fantastic.
And I've got I've got the tools, and that's really what's been missing.
Yeah, terrific. Jeff Leapster, former Michigan student athlete. You showed a picture of you and one of your former teammates, Jim Hackett, and you're different. You're a different guy. I mean, it's a different guy in the picture.
Well, that was 50 pounds ago, Sam.
Yeah, man.
So it's all good. It's all good. Thank you for the opportunity to talk, and everybody. The jersey's beautiful. Bid on it.
Yeah, we will put it up for auction on Monday. So if you're interested in that Desmond Howard jersey, be sure to tune in to the Michigan Insider on Monday. Right now, we'll take this last break of this special edition of the Michigan Insider. We'll be back on the other side to close things out here from the MDN on campus, 303 South State Street, the autograph signing event with Desmond Howard and Ben Gedeon. Will wrap things up when we return here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, The Ticket.
All right. So Ben, how long is this break?
This break is 2:15. I can throw something else in there if you want it longer.
Yeah, let's throw at least another minute PSAs in. Should be good to go.
Okay.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot.
This Michigan Insider return, is that music or is that dialogue?
It's probably music. Like, so you don't have to feed it. Like it should be. There's the bed, the voiceover guy, and right afterwards should be the music. But
Is there a return liner and then it has a
I don't know. There I am. Look at that. There I am.
Michigan Insider return? So
Yeah, so that's got to be the music bed right there.
okay, I was just curious because it was looking different from
Michigan Insider return is bumper music back.
Yep.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Should be.
Okay.
Or just count us in and put us up when it doesn't play music. Hi, internet stream. It's been a lot of fun here. Great crowd.
Mm-hmm.
People rolling through. The great Jim Betts is here. It's great to catch up with Jim. Seeing him first time in a little while.
Now, Ira, there was a question that came like way back at the beginning of the stream.
Okay.
It came from Facebook. Let me see if I can find it right quick. It came from Marilyn. She was wondering when you brought up the 49 days until the beginning of the football season.
Yes.
So where did you find this history, and can you share it?
So this is how I do my research. I start with the Bentley Library database, and then I go by jersey number. So everybody under the number, right? So I start there, and then I just Google. And most of the time, the first stop is Wikipedia, because some guys have a paragraph, some guys have a lot more, but I got that. I'd start with Wikipedia, and then now Chappius in particular, there's other places. There were, sadly, a lot of these guys, because they're pretty old. There's some obits that I read.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten a fair amount of information from obituaries, Wikipedia, mgoblue.com has like all American pages. I just, I go through a lot.
No time soon. No time soon.
No, I won't. We will get to the number 23 though, but I don't. I'm trying to think of other. Google's a great start.
Yeah,
and then I just you stumble on some amazing stories. The Chappius one, I think, is pretty detailed on Wikipedia, and then I kind of used that for links, and then I found other stories. And when he passed, I updated it because there's some more stuff from his obituary and things like that.
I got you.
30 seconds. 30.
Okay, one more.
The legendary Dave Abloff is here.
Right.
He's talking about the people that are in the building.
I was wondering who tagged you on the back of the head. I'm like, who the hell just tagged? Oh, it's Dave. Okay.
Yeah, that's the legendary Dave Abloff who is here, who apparently has had 2 days off since pre-COVID, I think. So gearing up for the season.
He got 2 days off?
So I know, a whole 2. This is how I know. I always talk about, you kind of know when things are really ramping back up. Like we get to our countdown, we get to this window, 7 weeks to the season. And I know when my next door neighbor who's in charge of Michigan football video, when he's like, yep, Monday is the day back to work. That's the one.
And we are back, folks, here on the Michigan Insider, Sports Talk 1050, WTKA, online at WTKA.com. And Ira, we're out here at the MDN 303 South State Street. This is like a meal for me in the break, like a protein bar.
And I know you're not cheating or breaking rules, because this would be the worst place to do it. You're live on video, you're live on the radio, and the entire Rewind team is here. So you could not. This would be like trying to cheat on a test in front of your teacher, the principal, and like 3 other proctors.
Right, no doubt. But you know what? There are so many opportunities to cheat. We're out on the street with
sure, yeah,
with our fare.
Yep.
And it's like, nope. Let's take a protein bar and be ready to go.
Yeah, I apologize, because we were doing setup, and I promised Miz when we were done setting up that I'd have pizza waiting for him, and I did. And then we got pizza sitting on the desk over here, and so I'm like, these are not things that we had here during this event.
Here's the thing, man. Once you get past the first couple of weeks, it becomes a lot. Because if I couldn't deal with a pizza being on the table, I wouldn't last at home.
Oh, and I'm not saying that you couldn't deal with it. I feel that it's kind of like rubbing it in your face.
No.
Like the analogy I made is, like when you go to the hospital and you're in a waiting room, and there's certain waiting rooms like no food and drink. And it's not usually because you can't have food and drink in there for safety reasons. It's because there are people in the waiting room that are about to go have procedures, and they have not had food or drink since like sundown the night before or longer. And it's cruel, right? More than anything, it's psychologically cruel to those people to have food and drink while they can't, right? And so I do have those thoughts of, if I'm eating in the studio or here, if we're on set, I have those thoughts, and I'm not that you can't handle it. I know you can handle it, but I don't want to.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do.
I don't want to. I know
you. Yeah, you wouldn't. But you would never do that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not going to walk and be like, this Pizza Bob's milkshake is awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
You would never do that anyway. And my family would do that. They wouldn't be teasing me with the food. But you know what? You learn once you get through a couple of weeks. You learn to have something else on hand or to grab a different kind of snack. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't have a craving. eventually those cravings will be satiated, right? I'll be able to deal with those and have a steak, but I just know a lot better about, hey, you know, half your plate needs to be vegetables, dude. You can't drink 12 sodas.
So there
You
are
know,
certain
that kind of
situations.
thing.
I'm curious for you. It's probably another bad analogy, but someone that quit smoking, there are certain places, a bar, a concert, there are certain places where it may be harder for that person to go after the fact than just going out to dinner or something, right? You're beyond it. You've quit. You're fine, but you may go to places that environmentally be like, man, I could really, you know, like they make you think like that. For you, when you start stepping into places like you're back in a press box, so game day, you know, we're in the tent at 8 a.m. for a noon game. We're there for 3 hours. Then you go to the press box. We have an hour before the game, and then there's food in the press box. And you're not going to go from 8 a.m. until 3:30 is the end of the game, and then 5 o'clock maybe the end of all the work. You're not going to go 8 a to 5 p and not eat anything. And I can't imagine that you're going to spend your whole day just eating those bars. And I'm not downplaying the bars, but there's media food. You have to figure out what in the media food you can or can't eat. So these things for you, you probably start, you know, and I was talking to Kate about this during the show, the husband-wife tandem thing really is helpful.
It is.
And for you guys, it's probably going to be really helpful because she can help you maybe pack some things to take with you to the stadium, right? So you can have a little bag with you that you bring and have sitting there in the tailgate, and then you bring it up to the stadium. So when you do get hungry, you have your Desmond Howard trail mixture, you have your popcorn with olive oil on or some bars, but also maybe a sandwich or whatever, a wrap or whatever it is that you can.
How about this? We do the Bud Light Victor's Lounge. What have we been doing it together? 12 years now. Have you ever known me to drink a diet soda in the Bud Light? You've never seen me drink a diet soda in there. I may on occasion have if we had Coke Zero. I may have had a Coke Zero.
But it's very rare. Yeah,
very rare.
Yeah, very rare.
Very rare. It would be full-fledged soda. I'm not drinking a diet soda. That was my thing. I mean, I can taste the difference. It's not the same. I want the sugary drink. So most of my calories, if you want to know my biggest vice, it was soda. Pop, as we call it around here.
You're wrong, but that's how you call it here. We're not going down that rabbit hole, but yes.
But I would drink a lot of calories, a lot of empty calories, man. And I don't do that anymore. That I've given up.
Yeah, when my dad, who we've had the conversations when he dropped his 80 plus pounds, the soda was a big part of it, cutting those calories. And then the as you said, you can get back into having these snacks or
in
these
moderation,
things, but you have to know how to, like, not that you're going back to eating Oreos, but we have Oreos in the house, so it makes me think you wouldn't like take the bag of cookies and eat the whole sleeve. You have a cookie or maybe two, but not the whole sleeve, which it's really fun to eat the whole sleeve, but that's not practical, right? It does. Yes, you cut down the size of your plate. You drink water versus whatever.
Much more water. Water is
it's a filler. It's a very good filler.
It's a filler, Ira.
Drink a glass of water before.
It's also a cleanser. It's also a cleanser.
You drink water before meal. You drink water before.
Yeah, man. Drink this water.
And as Sam will tell you, if you're on any kind of a program and they say drink 64 ounces, drink 64 ounces.
Or close to it.
If they tell you to drink 82 ounces, drink 82 ounces.
Don't skip the water.
Don't skip the water. So it's funny because what were we watching? Oh, it was Twitter, and there was something about the Rocky IV fight. And did you see Abby, who's the
I did.
So it was and Drago, and she's the nutritionist for Michigan football. It made me think of you.
I saw it.
And obviously it's a movie, but she takes it to the next level. When did the fight turn? According to her, the fight turned when Drago pushed the water bottle away between the rounds, said no water, and then he started to fade. And you know what? Scientifically, now in the movie she's wrong because obviously there's other things to it, but scientifically, medically, she was actually right. The water is really that important. And it's funny because I'd never thought about it before, but he did refuse the water. I'm the bad dude. I'm the tough guy. But water's important. And so there's your lesson. Don't be like Drago.
Yeah, man. Look, don't be like Sam when he started Rewind. Because if you had seen me on video that
I kind of wish we were recording.
And let me be clear, because who saved me was Dr. Amy. Like Amy, she's so great. Because as soon as I got off the air, I was like, I sent the message in, and she said, "Okay, I'm going to prescribe something for you. I'm going to prescribe something to get you moving." No. First, she said, because I was feeling it the day before, so I contacted Amy through Rewind, And she said, I'm going to monitor you the rest of the day. Tell me how you're doing in 4 hours. And then we'll check again in the morning. So in 4 hours, it wasn't terrible. It hadn't progressed, though. She said, okay, so we'll check on it in the morning. By the time the morning hit, Ira, as you can attest, man, I could barely stand.
Shape. Yeah,
it was so bad. It was so bad. I mean, just pain. It bends you at your knees, pain in the gut. And so I contacted Amy. She said, I'm gonna prescribe you something. She said, this is like industrial strength stuff. You're finding this isn't the over the counter get you moving stuff. I'm gonna get you that, get you some other stuff. We're gonna combine this, we're gonna get it going, and it'll get you moving. And Ira, I mean, I had neglected the water so much that it took a minute for the industrial strength stuff to start working. And so she was checking on me every step of the way. And she's like, look, if things don't start happening in the next 4 hours, I'm going to double your dose. So this is the kind of monitoring that you're getting with Rewind. So you have an issue that it has nothing to do with the program. It's all user error. It was all on me for sure. But then after you make the mistake, helping you correct the answer. So, by the time the next 4 hours passed, things started to move, and then they moved more, and then I was back.
This is the FCC version. This is the FCC version. You don't want to know what the text version was
Right.
between Sam, Ira, and myself.
Yeah, I was saying those guys were getting the gory details. They were getting the gory details. Just Google lactulose. Lactulose. You Google that, you'll see this is some stuff, Ira. Man, you could probably like grease train tracks with this stuff.
We can move the conversation forward now if you'd like, Sam.
I'm just saying. That's how bad a shape I had gotten myself in by not following instructions of drinking water, because drinking water was just not a thing. It wasn't a habit for me. But what you notice is, aside from the cleansing that it does for you, it also is a filler.
Yeah.
It is a filler. That's another reason why they say drink your water. It will help stave off hunger.
And I honestly think, obviously I'm not on the Rewind program, but I've actually started drinking partly, I think, since that time with you. I just kind of been, plus in the summer, you're sweating a little more, it's a little hotter. I'm a little more conscious of drinking water. But you could tell the difference of drinking a little more water and how that affects your system, or lack of the water of what it does. And I can tell my eyes will never forget what I saw of you, how you try to fight through, which was remarkable in itself. But you knew how bad it was when your wife's like, I don't know if he told you or not. And she wanted to reach out to make sure you told me, which you had told me, obviously, because I'm like, Sam, you're not looking right.
Yeah, it was bad.
But you're looking great now. And that's the most important part. Follow the instructions. Follow them to a T, and you will be in great shape. And if you and your spouse, or maybe you and your child, want to do it together, teams really, it thrives. As I was talking to Kate about this a little bit while we were here, and we were talking about you and your wife, but then she was talking about there's another couple husband-wife teams, and there's another where it's like the mother and the daughter, and the teamwork really does make a difference. It really does help, because you're under the same roof, you're going through the same things, and it allows you to eat the same, the diets together, so the food planning is a little bit easier, that kind of thing as well. And so I highly recommend, based on what I've seen from you, what I've seen from Jeff, what I've seen from Kevin, and this is me watching from the outside looking in, and then obviously listening pretty closely to what Anna has to say, what Dr. Rothberg has to say, what some of the others have to say over the last many weeks now. I recommend this program because it does what you say it's going to do. It reverses these bad things, whether it's turning back a pre-diabetic, or turning back from diabetes, or the high blood pressure, all the other things you've talked about. We hear a lot of examples. It really does work. And as you said at the beginning of this show, we don't just willy-nilly say, oh, we'll endorse it because sure, why not? Because we get product or money or something. We make sure we endorse things that we believe in, or we want to get behind because we want to see how it goes and then believe in it. And that's obviously the case here. You couldn't believe in it until you did it, but you knew it sounded right for you. And it obviously is.
Yes, sir. Folks, this has been a great day. It's been a festive day. But you know what makes it special is it marks the beginning for so many people. So many people hopefully heard the Rewind message today and decided to join up. The folks who are part of Rewind and got a chance to mingle with people in person other Rewind members got even more encouragement to continue. That's another big part of it. The team aspect of it is just, it feels like the beginning of something that is just going to get better the longer we go, or even these events at the Emden.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're gonna have more events.
Gonna have more
Looking forward
events
to
at the
that.
Emden.
And Sam, just another one of those reminders. How about at this time in exactly 7 weeks, we'll be in the fourth quarter of Michigan's season opening football game against Western Michigan.
Can't wait.
We'll be in the fourth quarter 7 weeks from today. 49 days
Right.
away.
Well, that morning we will be on the corner of Stadium and Main next to the Emden tent,
That's right. We will be right next door to the giant Emden tent. And if anybody wants Jim Betts' autograph on your way out, Jim Betts is here to sign autographs as well. We have a Sharpie if you want that as well. And we cannot wait, Sam. 49 days. Of course, we'll be back on the air on Monday morning. But all this does is, seeing the people around, walking around town, seeing a really busy Emden. Yeah, I'm really ready for football season now.
Yeah,
I mean, enjoying the summer, but I'm ready for football
season. So I've never been
too.
down here on a game day. Obviously, you haven't either. But is this what it's like
I've
on a
been down
game
here
day?
on like the Friday night before, and I'm here right after games because I'm the
Right.
scorekeepers after every game. So I am here after every game. And it's like this after every Emden after a game. You got to know tricks to not stand in a really long line. I'll just leave it like that.
Well, folks, listen. More information on Rewind. Join rewind.com/Michigan. Again, join rewind.com/Michigan. It can really, really jumpstart you on a weight loss journey that maybe you've been on for a long time and have just been tethered in place or up and down, right? You haven't been able to find something that you could stick with, that you saw the results from. A lot of programs you join, maybe the results don't come fast enough or consistently enough. You have speed, you have the longevity of effectiveness as well. You have the longevity of support. All of these things are present with Rewind. Again, join rewind.com/Michigan. That's going to do it for this special broadcast edition. Want to thank all the members from Rewind, all the great coaches, Anna and Catherine, and of course Amy, and then we have Kate and Peter. Rewind is just a life-changing program. Of course, we got to thank Jake Butt, who was out earlier this morning, and Ben Gedeon and Desmond Howard, and of course the entire Emden team, Scott Hurth and his crew here. They do such a fantastic job. You're going to see us down here more. Of course, Ms. Man, we can never do anything without the Ms. Man. The show would have gone off the air that day if the Ms. Man couldn't fill in. So appreciate that. And of course, my man, Ira Weintraub.
Shout out to Benjamin back in the studio as well, too, for holding it down.
And being back in the studio, folks. That's going to do it for us in this special edition of the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTK, The Ticket, the official voice of University of Michigan Sports, Ann Arbor, a Cumulus station.
You are clear.
Man, that flew by.
All right. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Internet. And Benjamin, I'll talk with you later. Actually, I'll just end broadcast. Thanks, Internet, for following along. Have a great rest of the weekend.